A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Jerry of the Circus. For Jerry of the Circus.
No, Rags, I don't want to play. I just had my lunch a little while ago. I want to sit here on the wagon steps and rest. Aw, quit begging me. Oh, you want me to throw that stick for you so you can chase it, huh? Well, put it in my hand then. That's the boy. Are you ready now? I'm going to throw it real far. Here it goes. 1, 2, 3. All right. Get on your mark. Get set. Go. You almost got it before it hit the ground that time, Rags. You're fast as lightning.
Hello, Jerry.
Oh, hello, Mr. Bradley.
I've got something for you, Jerry.
Yeah? What is it?
Well, I was just over at the office wagon, and look what the mailman left for you.
A postcard. No, it isn't a postcard either. What kind of a card is it?
It's a notification card, Jerry.
What does that mean?
Well, it says there on the card, there's a registered letter for you over at the post office, and you'll have to go and sign for it.
Well, who's it from?
It doesn't say that, Jerry. I guess you'd better go over to the post office and find out.
I better go now. It might be important.
Yes, it might.
Want to come with me?
Let's see now. Yes, I think I'll have time before the matinee. I'll walk over with you, Jerry.
Oh, you want to come too, do you, huh?
I never in my life saw a dog that was as smart as Rags. I do believe he understands every word that's spoken. Oh, you do you? You're a clever little pup.
Well, come on, then. No, not you. I mean Mr. Bradley. You wait here till we come back. Be a good dog now.
I'm ready. Come on, Jerry.
Bye, Rags.
Now, just look at the way he sits there and turns his head from one side to the other.
Oh, that's just the way he begs. He thinks if he acts cute like, that I'll weaken and take him along with me.
You're lucky to have a nice dog like that, Jerry.
No, I know it. Say, Mr. Bradley.
Yes?
You were saying last night you thought you knew who that escaped convict was. The one we saw the picture of on the poster back in the last town we played.
I've got a pretty good idea, but I'm not positive. Say, I can look at the poster again in this post office.
Do they have those posters in every post office?
Yes, there's a rule. If they have one of the same man, I'll study it real good to make sure.
Funny, I thought I knew who it was, too. I figured for sure I'd seen that man someplace.
There it is, right up there at the corner.
What?
Why, the post office.
Oh, sure.
You'll be surprised, Jerry, when you find out who I think that escaped convict is.
Who do you think it is?
Well, I don't want to say now. Wouldn't be fair. I may be wrong about it, and it wouldn't be very nice of me to name a man who is innocent.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
I'll just wait until I can make sure, and then I'll notify the police, and they can come and get him.
It must be awful to know the police are looking for you all the time.
Yes, Jerry. The mental suffering of the transgressor is very great. Well, here we are. You go ahead, Jerry.
Okay.
I guess you'll have to inquire about your letter over at that window.
Right here?
Yes, that's the one. Now just show the man that card you have. I'll look around for those posters.
Something I can do for you, son?
Yes, sir, Well, this card says I've got a letter here.
Let me see it. Yes, sir. You have a registered letter. I'll get it.
See the poster, Mr. Bradley?
No, not yet, Jerry.
Here you are, young man. Just sign your name right here.
All right. Jerry Dugan. There you are.
Thank you. And here's your letter.
Look at Mr. Bradley. It's from my lawyer.
Your lawyer? Well, that sounds mighty important.
I mean, it's from Mr. Grayson. You know, he's finding out about the safety deposit box my dad had.
Oh, yes, to be sure.
Wait, I'll see what he says. God, I hope it's good news.
Do you mind letting me in on it? You know, I'd like to share your good fortune with you.
Sure, I'll read it. It says, Dear Jerry, having promised to let you know the results of your appeal to the courts regarding the safety deposit box of your father's, it is with regret that I have to inform you that the case has been postponed. Due to an overcrowded calendar, the appeal has been set up to the next session.
Now, isn't that too bad?
Well, I don't understand. What does he mean?
It means that you'll just have to wait a little while longer. I take it there were too many other cases ahead of yours.
Oh, gee, I thought for sure Mr. Grayson would be able to open the box and find out what's in it.
It is too bad. There's more to the letter, Jerry. Go ahead and read it.
I will do everything to get an early hearing and report to you my findings, as I fully realize how anxious you are to learn of the contents of the box. Please convey my very best wishes to all of my circus friends, especially Bumps and Mr. Bradley, of course. Hear that?
Well, now, that was nice of him to remember me. Ah, he's a mighty fine young man, that Mr. Grayson.
Uh-huh. And then he says, drop me a line, Jerry. I should like very much to hear from you. Always your friend, Richard Grayson.
Well, better luck next time, Jerry. At least the appeal to open the box wasn't refused.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it. But I've been waiting so long already. Golly.
Yeah, I know, Jerry. But you'll get to find out what's in the box yet. Are you ready? You know, I've got to get back to the lot and get made up. Won't be long before the matinee now.
Did you want to look at that poster of the man who's wanted for escaping from jail?
I looked for it, but it's not up in this post office. I take it they change those posters every now and again.
Well, why don't you ask someone about it?
No, that's an idea, Jerry. The postmaster most likely keeps them in his office if they're not out here. But, no, I haven't time now. Come on.
Maybe you can come over after the show.
Yes, maybe so.
Say, look.
What is it, Jerry?
Why can't we go down this street and across that lot? It'll be a shortcut.
That's a good idea.
How long do you think I'll have to wait until the case comes up in the court again?
Oh, I don't know. Didn't say in the letter, did it?
No.
Well, I don't think it'll be very long. Maybe a month or so.
Oh, golly, that long?
Well, to be truthful, Jerry, I really couldn't say. Maybe it'll be sooner. Oh, let's cut across right here. There's a path goes right over to our lot.
It leads right over to just about where our wagon is. Lucky I thought of this shortcut, huh?
I should say.
Doesn't the big top look swell from here?
What do you mean by that, Jerry?
Oh, I don't know. I just love to look at all the tents and the banners and flags.
Yes, it is a pretty sight.
Ever since I was real little, I've always wanted to be with a circus. Maybe it's because I heard Mom and Dad talk about it so much.
You're a true son of the Sawdust Trail, Jerry.
Sometimes I can hardly believe that I really belong.
I'd say you have a pretty good foothold in this business. You know, Jerry, it wouldn't surprise me if someday your name would become a household word.
A household word?
I mean, someday you might become a big star with the circus and have your name on big billboards in every city in the country.
Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful?
Looks like it's in the cards, Jerry. A boy that loves the circus as much as you do is bound to make a name for himself.
Golly, I sure hope so. Hey, look, there's Beppo, the little Italian clown.
Sure enough. And he's washing clothes as usual.
He doesn't talk much, does he?
You know him, don't you?
Oh, sure, but he never talks to me. I only say hello to him whenever I see him.
Oh, he keeps pretty much to himself, that's true. Friendly enough, but, well, sort of reserved.
And there's Major Mike. Hey, wait.
Hey, what's the idea?
Uh-huh.
Did you see that? When the Major walked by Beppo, splashed some water on him from his wash tub. He look at him. He's getting mad.
Oh, he'd better not get too angry with Beppo. That little fellow is just as fiery as the Major ever was. He just won't take anything from anybody.
Let's stand here by the side of this tent and watch him.
Listen.
Certainly come to it pretty fast. What about he can't walk across the spot without getting drenched to the skin with a lot of dirty soap water?
No, you talking crazy, Major Mike.
Who's crazy? Don't you dare call me crazy.
No, I'm not calling you crazy. I'm saying you talking crazy.
You splashed that water on me for a reason. You did it on purpose. Now don't tell me you didn't, because I know you did. And I won't stand for it. Do you hear?
No. I'm no like to fight, but Beppo no take no talk from you. Beppo, he's almost the same size like you, and Beppo, he's a make a fight with you. You don't like a fight, you get away from here.
They're really mad, aren't they?
Yes, it looks that way, Jerry.
Now, listen, don't be giving me any orders, because I won't take them from you. I got just as much business walking back here in the yard as you have washing your old clothes back here. In fact, more so. I'm a feature attraction on this show.
Feature attraction. You making me laugh. You are a freak.
A freak? Don't you dare call me a freak. Why,
you better go away now. I think maybe Beppo is getting mad. Go on, feel it.
Now, you listen to me. I'll have you understand.
I know, listen to you hothead. Now, if you don't go away, I'm going to cool you off.
Oh, is that so? Seems to me you're taking on a man-sized job.
You want to make a fight with me?
Hey, this is getting serious. Maybe the Major will get hurt.
Beppo's not much bigger than Major Mike.
I'll have you know that I demand respect.
What do you demand? What I give you is something else.
Maybe we'd better stop them before they do start.
Oh, no, Jerry. That's something we try not to do around the circus. It doesn't pay to mix in and take sides, you know.
Here's some more water for you.
Oh! You stop throwing that dirty water on me. Why, you...
I threw the whole tubful on you. You don't get away from me. When a Beppo gets to mad, he's to get to good mad.
Oh, you just dare to lay a hand on me.
Yes, I suppose you run quick and get your sweetheart, the lady with the whiskers.
And now you leave her out of this, or you'll get me mad. I'm pretty even-tempered, Beppo, but don't get me started, or you'll be sorry.
It makes you mad when I talk about your pretty sweetheart with the nice long black beard.
No, she's not my sweetheart, and you know it.
Did you hear the Major say he was even-tempered?
No, I'll do no such thing. And furthermore, I fully intend to report your disrespect and your outlandish actions to none other than Mr. Randall. Don't think for 1 minute you can treat Major Mike lightly and get away with it.
Beppo, say go. I give you 1 minute.
And if I don't go...
You go.
Oh, no, I won't. I said it before and I'll say it again. I'll stand on my rights. I'll not take orders from you. The idea. Throwing dirty water on me, and then you have the nerve to give me orders.
All right. You ask for it, and now you get it.
Whoa! You let go of me. Let go, I say. I'll have the police on you.
Sonny, pick the Major up and put him in the wash tub.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Oh, no. How do you like that? I'm fat. I saw you.
For the safety of your smile, use Pepsodent twice a day. See your dentist twice a year. Lever Brothers Company presents the Pepsodent program, The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, starring Van Heflin. Pepsodent presents Philip Marlowe, Hollywood's famous private detective created by Raymond Chandler. Philip Marlowe, tough, cynical private eye of Murder My Sweet, the sardonic, case-hardened detective of The Brasher Doubloon, The Lady in the Lake, and The Big Sleep. You've seen him in action in all of those top-flight mystery pictures. Now, in order that you may continue to enjoy this exciting mystery series, Pepsodent brings you The Adventures of Philip Marlowe on the air with a cast of noted radio players, and starring MGM's brilliant and dynamic young actor, Van Heflin. Now, families all over America have named their favorite toothpaste. New Pepsodent with Irium. New fresh-tasting Pepsodent with the new cool, minty flavor. It's the 3-to-1 favorite over all other toothpastes.
It's true. With families all over America, new Pepsodent is the favorite 3-to-1.
Families from coast to coast recently compared new Pepsodent with other toothpastes at home. They preferred new Pepsodent by an overwhelming average of 3-to-1 over all other brands they tried. These families, 3-to-1, said new Pepsodent tastes better, makes breath cleaner, makes teeth brighter.
Yes, families 3-to-1 say new Pepsodent tastes better, makes breath cleaner, makes teeth brighter.
Get new Pepsodent toothpaste for your family right away.
There was a rough desert wind blowing into Los Angeles that evening. It was one of those hot, dry Santa Anas that come down through the mountain passes and curl your hair, make your nerves jump and your skin itch. On nights like that, every booze party ends up in a fight, and meek little housewives feel the edge of a carving knife and study their husbands' necks. Anything can happen when the Santa Ana blows in from the desert. I closed up my office early. I got tired of reading Philip Marlowe, private investigator, backwards on the ground glass of my office door. So I opened the door and closed it from the outside and locked it and went out to get a beer before I went up to my apartment.
Fill her up again, Mr. Marlin?
Marlowe. Marlin is a fish.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, you bartender. Give me another ride.
Drunk again. What'd you expect in this business? Autograph hounds?
Make it snappy, you hear?
Be right with you, sport. I got to draw this man a beer. Crying out loud, these stumble bums who come in here.
You got another customer, Bacchus?
Hey, Bud. You seen a lady in here lately?
A lady?
Tall, good-looking, brown hair, a print bolero jacket, and a blue silk dress.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Nobody like that's been in.
All right, straight scotch, fast. I left my engine running out there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This slick-looking, sarcastic guy stepped up to the bar and drank his scotch whole. And he stopped. The drunk was grinning at him. And then, without changing his grin, the drunk swept a gun from somewhere so fast it was just a blur coming out. Made a couple of hard snaps, and a little smoke curled. Very little.
All right, you other guys. Don't move. So long, Waldo. All right, don't move, you two. Oh, Waldo. But I made his nose bleed. So long, boys. Drink up.
All right, get on that phone, kid. I'll get his license number.
Holy smoke. Holy smoke.
Not too late. Drove away with this dead guy's car.
Maybe he ain't dead.
He's dead, all right. Where's your phone? This is for the police. The prowl car boys were there in about 5 minutes. Waldo was out of business, all right. And nothing in his pockets told who he was, but he had about $700 on him. I told the cops what I knew, including about Waldo's tall, brown-haired, pretty girl in the bolero jacket. It was about 9 o'clock when I stepped out of the elevator in my apartment house and almost walked right into a tall, brown-haired, pretty girl in a bolero jacket, waiting for the elevator on my floor.
Oh, excuse me.
Just a minute, lady.
I said excuse me. I'm in a hurry. Now, if you'll be good enough
Look,
to step
you better
out
not go outside in those clothes.
Just what do you mean by telling me what?
This isn't a make. You're in trouble.
Trouble?
Yeah, the cops are looking for you in those clothes.
But I haven't done anything that...
I'm in room 41 across the hall now. I never collected an etching in my life.
All right, I'll go with you. I'll go.
I got to my room and rustled up some scotch and soda and brought the girl her glass. She had a small automatic in her hand. It jumped up at me, and her eyes were full of panic. I put down both glasses on the table slowly so that I wouldn't be misunderstood. Look, sister, maybe this wind has got you crazy, too.
Don't move. Be careful, don't move.
A man just got shot in a bar down the street. Before he got it, he'd been asking about a tall, pretty girl with a bolero jacket, like yours.
What did he look like, this man?
Tall, 5'11", slim, dark brown eyes with a lot of glitter, dark suit, white handkerchief in the breast pocket. And he must have seen you earlier tonight to know how you were dressed. Am I getting anywhere?
He used to be my chauffeur.
You had an appointment with him, didn't you?
Why?
Listen, he asked for you, didn't he?
Yes, I had an appointment with him. He'd stolen something from me when he left 3 days ago. I was going to buy it back from him.
Why didn't you tell the police?
I couldn't tell them.
It was valuable, wasn't it? Valuable enough for Waldo to steal?
$15,000.
Oh, it's peanuts.
But it wasn't the value. It meant something to me. The man I love gave it to me, and now he's dead. He was a flyer shot down over Germany. I'll go back and tell my husband that. He probably hired you.
He did? Well, how much is he paying me? And where is this husband of yours?
He's at a meeting.
This late at night?
He's a very important man. He's a hydroelectric engineer. I'll have you know that my husband is one of...
Skip it. I'll take him out to lunch sometime and have him tell me himself. And about Waldo, whatever he had on you is dead stock now, like Waldo himself.
You mean he's dead? Waldo is dead?
Yes, sister, he's dead. Dead. Lady, he is dead.
Oh.
I scream and I'll give you 2 black eyes.
I'm not going to scream. Who will that be?
There's a dressing room behind that door. Hide there. Now, don't argue with me. Do it.
All right.
And I went to the door, making a loud, yawning sound. The backs of my hands were wet. I opened the door. Without a gun, that was a mistake. I certainly knew the gun I was looking into, a .22 target automatic that had already killed 1 man that night. And I knew the bald head and the flat, shiny eyes and the face like a poisonous lizard. Baldy put the muzzle of his gun lightly against my throat. I backed into the room, and Baldy kicked the door shut.
You alone?
Look for yourself.
I'm asking, not looking.
I'm alone.
You and that dumb bartender saw me dust off Waldo.
What did Waldo do to you?
Who's asking?
Just making conversation.
He stooled on me on a bank job we did together. Got me 4 years in Michigan pen. How is he?
Dead.
I'm still good, drunk or sober. Tell me why I came here, pal.
You heard the barkeeper and me talking. I told him my name, where I lived.
That's how, pal. I said why.
Skip it. The hangman won't ask you to guess why he's there.
Oh, you're pretty tough at that, ain't you? But you're slamming off, pal.
All right, but you could get that gun out of my neck and try somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, sure. Is this better? This suit you all right?
Just so it isn't my neck.
Say when, pal? It's your party.
I leaned against the gun. The door of the dressing room showed a crack of darkness. The crack widened. I began to shake a little. The girl came quietly into the room, but there was white all around her iris. She was scared. She had her gun in her hand, but I was sorry for her. Dead sorry. She'd try to make the door scream. Either way, it'd be curtains for both of us.
You scared, mister? You worried about any little thing?
I couldn't talk. The girl floated in the air somewhere behind Baldy, and her horrified face was drifting toward us. My mouth was as cold and dry as yesterday's toast.
Well, kid, how's it feel? You ready yet? Go on, say the word.
Well, don't take all night about it if you're going to do something about it.
Why not, pal? I like this.
Well, suppose I yell.
Go ahead, yell. Go ahead.
Put up your hands!
Hey, look!
Oh.
Thanks, sister. Thanks. That buys me. Everything I have is yours now and forever.
Is he dead?
You flatter me no end, lady. I only punched him. All right, now get out of here while I call the cops down on this killer.
Yes. Good night. Good
hey,
night.
wait. Leave that bolero jacket here. It marks you for the cops.
Oh, yes, here.
Okay. See you again?
Why?
Oh, I don't know. No, I guess not. After all, who am I to be the rival of a dead flyer? I'll see that the police get Jesse James here. Good night, lady. Yeah? You mean me?
Yes, please.
Oh, you. Again, huh?
Get in. I must talk to you.
You want to know what happened at headquarters, huh?
Yes.
Well, I went down there with the law and gave them the story. I left you out of it.
Oh, thank you.
You saved my life, so no one knows a thing about you. Well, incidentally, neither do I.
Well, my name is Mrs. Frank Bosley. 212 Fremont Place, Olympia 24596. Is that what you want?
I guess so.
Well, there he is.
Now, why did you really come back?
I wanted my pearls.
Pearls?
Yes.
Pearls, too, huh? All right. Tell me about the pearls. We've had a murder and a beautiful mystery woman and a sadistic killer and a heroic rescue. Now we will have pearls.
I was to buy them back from the man called Waldo.
Well, I saw everything that came out of his pockets, and there weren't any pearls.
Could they be hidden in his apartment?
It's possible.
Waldo lived on the same floor you do in this apartment house.
And why didn't I know him, at least by sight?
He moved in last week. He managed to get a sublet.
Great, a sort of an amateur magician on the side, huh?
It's getting rather late.
Yeah. What about your husband this hot, mysterious night?
He's still at his meeting.
Well, you could have brought him along. You could have sat in the back seat working out a problem in hydroelectrics for...
Well, what?
Well, I didn't have any answers that wouldn't sound cheap or just ridiculous or from the sophomore class in repartee. Had an unlit cigarette in my hand. I threw it out of the window. I took a hold of her and kissed her. She sat very still. I was shaking when I let go of her. Her voice trembled a little when she spoke.
I meant you to do that. I wasn't always that way. Only since Johnny Dalmas was killed in the war. He gave me those pearls. 41 of them perfectly matched with a diamond propeller clasp. I'd have loved them if they'd been wooden beads because he gave them to me. I love Johnny. The way you love just one time. You understand that?
What's your name?
Lola.
Lola, how did you explain a $15,000 pearl necklace to your husband?
I told him they were imitation, and I bought them myself.
How did Waldo latch onto them and what they stood for?
When my husband was in Argentina, Waldo and I'd go for long drives. I was restless and wretched because of Johnny. Sometimes Waldo and I had a little drink together, but that's all.
But you confided in Waldo about those pearls.
I was a fool.
And when your husband came back, Waldo stole the pearls and offered to sell them back to you, or he'd tell Papa, huh?
I was a fool.
And now you think the pearls are upstairs in Waldo's apartment?
I suppose it's a lot to ask.
No, sweetheart, huh? I've been paid. I'll go look. Wait here, huh? Has it gone along, Lola?
No. Well?
No.
No pearls?
No pearls.
Oh.
There was a man in Waldo's room.
A man? Who?
You know a man named Leon Balsanos?
Not by name. I don't know.
Mexican, South American, about 45, small, iron gray hair, very neat, fawn-colored suit, wine-colored tie.
No, I don't think I know such a man. Is he the one in Waldo's room?
Yeah.
What does he have to say?
Very little. In fact, nothing. He's dead.
You are listening to The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, starring Van Heflin, with music composed and conducted by Lynn Murray. Yes, families all over America have named their favorite toothpaste. New Pepsodent with invigorating Irium foam. New, fresh-tasting Pepsodent with a new, cool, minty flavor. It's the 3-to-1 favorite over all other toothpastes.
It's true. With families all over America, new Pepsodent is the favorite 3-to-1.
The Farrell family of Evergreen Park, Illinois, preferred New Pepsodent on every single count. The Farrells say New Pepsodent tastes best of all, makes breath cleaner, makes teeth brighter. On all these counts, by an overwhelming average of 3-to-1, families prefer New Pepsodent over all other toothpaste they've tried.
It's a fact. Families 3-to-1 say new Pepsodent tastes better, makes breath cleaner, and makes teeth brighter.
Remember, this is not just our opinion. It's the honest conviction of the Farrells and other families who compared New Pepsodent with other toothpaste they had at home. Get New Pepsodent, the only toothpaste containing Irium. Get it for your family without delay. We continue with the adventures of Philip Marlowe, created by Raymond Chandler and starring Van Heflin, who appears by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of the Technicolor musical Fiesta, starring Esther Williams.
I sat with Lola Barsley in her car listening to that jittery, infuriating desert wind gallop around in the midnight streets. I just told her about the Latin-looking man I'd found in Waldo's room in a very dead condition. I held her hands until they stopped trembling. Then I gave her the few remaining details. He had a gun in a shoulder holster, but someone had strangled him before he could use it.
Someone? Waldo?
Maybe. You see that convertible coupe 2 cars ahead of us?
It's been there for hours. It was there before I parked here to wait for you.
Leon, the man in Waldo's room, came in that car, but according to the key containers he carried, that isn't his car.
Whose car is it? Does it matter?
Well, it belongs to a lady according to the tag on the keys.
A lady?
Well, anyway, a woman, if you're going to split hairs. Eugenie Kolchenko. In West Los Angeles?
Never heard of her.
Oh. All right, well, you go home now, huh?
What are you going to do?
Drive that flossy convertible around, wave at my friends, impress people. You run along now. Me, I've got another date.
Yes? What is it, please?
Miss Eugenie Kolchenko?
Yes? What is it?
Did you lose or misplace a pigeon gray convertible coupe?
What are you saying?
Now, don't be alarmed. I found it, and I brought it home to you.
Come in, please. It is a reward you wish. Shall we say...
Snap out of it, Dragon Lady. Who was he?
Who? What's who?
The little guy, Leon. You loaned your car to. He's dead. Who was he?
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Eugenie.
Darling, come here, please.
What's the matter, honey? Who is this man?
I came about Miss Kolchenko's car.
What about her car?
The gentleman who borrowed it couldn't return it on account of he isn't alive.
He's dead. Darling, he's dead.
Well, that's putting it more bluntly, of course.
Dead, huh?
Completely.
Who are you?
Philip Marlowe, private investigator. My card.
Mm-hmm. You told the police yet?
Never do at once what can be deferred pending negotiations. Aesop.
I might negotiate.
Oh, peachy.
What do you know, Marlowe?
A man named Waldo was shot in a bar tonight. I happened to have the inside as to who he was, and when I visited his apartment tonight, I found this Leo Balsanos dead.
He wouldn't have had $500 in 20s on him, would he?
No, but this Waldo had over $700 on him when he was killed at that cocktail bar, mostly in 20s. Is there a basis there for negotiations yet?
Very well, Marlowe. I'm a married man. There were certain unpaid bills for some stuff Miss Kolchenko here had charged to my account.
But you told me I might charge to your account.
All right, so I wasn't very bright.
That might be the understatement of the decade, but go on.
I had the unpaid bill safely in my briefcase. Somehow this Waldo had a chance to steal the briefcase. I hired Leon and gave him $500 to buy back those bills from Waldo.
Instead, Waldo took Leon's dough and was forced to kill Leon in the process. And then he went out to keep another date and accidentally walked into an old pal hostile enough to blow him down.
And someone still has those bills. And I'm in for a divorce suit.
The man who shot Waldo got away in Waldo's car with your briefcase in it. Yeah, that could be. The cops caught him.
Oh. And the police have the briefcase.
Maybe. But the police are interested in solving crime, not in tossing mud for the benefit of sensation eaters. Look, I've got a friend or two at headquarters. Let me see what I can do.
It's worth $500 to me.
Well, then that's what it'll cost you.
Well, good luck. And, thank you, Mr.
Marlowe. Philip Marlowe, remember?
My name is Frank Barcelay.
Barcelay? Oh.
What does that mean?
The big hydroelectric engineer?
Yeah. How did you know?
My voices tell me.
Who?
Darling, this man is manifestly insane.
It's the heat, Miss Kolchenko. It's the Santa Ana. It's the desert wind. May I use your telephone? Someday I must tell you about Ibarra. Salt of the earth, Ibarra, detective lieutenant over at Central Homicide. I phoned Ibarra from Miss Kolchenko's house and told him where he could find a well-dressed cadaver named Leon and furnished a few small details. I gave Ibarra time to check my tip, and then I went down to see the good lieutenant and told him why I'd been up in Waldo's room, only to find Leon instead of a certain lady's string of pearls.
Pearls, eh?
Well, I thought Waldo might have them up there.
Whose pearls were they?
A lady's.
Go on.
Or they might have been in Waldo's car that Waldo's killer drove away in.
Yeah.
Oh, what, yeah?
They might have.
Also a batch of unpaid bills charged to the account of a certain Frank Barcelay?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, now, the police aren't interested in domestic scandal. They want to prevent or to solve crime, right? So I've got $500 for the police fund if those pearls and those bills are returned to their rightful owners.
Quit your kidding.
No, it's a valuable necklace.
Yeah? There's your necklace.
That's it. 41 pearls, perfectly matched diamond propeller clasp. That's it. That's the one.
Take it away, Marlowe.
On the level?
Just tell me straight what it's all about, all I ask.
Sure. Well, this Waldo was blackmailing a wife with the pearls, and her husband with the bills, guy by the name of Barcelay. Well, Barcelay sent Leon to get the bills from Waldo. Instead, Waldo killed Leon, then stepped out and happened to get shot by that guy at the bar. Now, if Barcelay's name stays out of the paper, I get $500, and that goes to the police fund.
We'll keep him out.
Well, now, I'm not in this case for money. I just want to get back the bills and the pearls.
As you say, Marlowe, the police aren't in business to sling mud.
Well, you can deliver the pearls to the lady yourself if you like. She lives at...
No, Marlowe. You better take them to her. You see, except for the diamond propeller clasp on them, they're phony.
Phony? But...
All but the clasp, Marlowe. All but the clasp.
Stared at Ibarra. So the flyer, Johnny Dalmas, the great lover, had given Lola a string of fake pearls. Well, I didn't know how to tell her, but I called her up and told her to meet me at the Beachcombers at 2. I was going to slip her the bad news slowly.
I'm glad you asked me to meet you here, Mr. Marlowe. See, I had to have someone to talk to.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead, talk. I'm listening.
Now, Mr. Marlowe, now more than ever, I must have those pearls.
Why? Money trouble?
Oh, no. It's just that everything's gone wrong. And this morning my husband told me we're to separate.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lola.
But if I had Johnny's pearls, it would be a link with the past and with Johnny. And all he meant to me. It's how a woman feels, Mr. Marlowe. I wouldn't blame you for not understanding.
Maybe I do, though.
So please, Mr. Marlowe, please, you'll try to find my pearls.
Lola, look,
even if it isn't all of them. Any part of them. Any single smallest one of them. It'll be Johnny's.
Look, will you meet me here again around 4 o'clock?
I'll be here.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. There was only one earthly decent thing I could do. I took Lola's glass pearls to a jeweler, and I had him take off the diamond clasp and put it on one of those strings of so-called simulated pearls that they sell you for $3, tax included. Then I went back to keep my 4 o'clock date with Lola at the Beachcombers.
Well, Mr. Marlowe, anything new?
Yes, the police found some pearls in Waldo's car.
They found my pearls?
No, not exactly.
Not exactly?
Well, Waldo was getting set to gyp you, Lola. He had the diamond clasp of your necklace attached to a string of cheap imitations. And then he sold the real pearls.
Oh, how... Oh.
These are the imitations here.
Yes. But it is my clasp. The clasp is real.
Is that all right?
Yes, it's the clasp that Johnny Dalmas gave me. Of course it's all right.
Oh, that's swell.
And thank you so much, Mr. Marlowe.
Forget it.
I won't. Not ever. Well, is this goodbye?
Yeah, I think so. You'll never get over Johnny Dalmas, Lola. If anybody ever bothers you again, though, well, let me know. Name's Philip Marlowe. I drove almost to Malibu, and then I parked and walked out on a rock cliff jutting into the Pacific Ocean. Then I reached in my pocket and dug out the string of Bohemian glass pearls that Lieutenant Ibarra had found in Waldo's car. I cut the knot at one end and slipped the pearls off one by one. One by one, I flipped them into the water. The gull swooped down on them and then flapped up again, screaming indignantly. The phony pearls had fooled Waldo and Lola Barsley, but they couldn't fool a seagull. I said to myself, to the memory of Johnny Dalmas, just another four-flusher. I listened a while to the wheeling seagulls. All at once I realized that the wind had died. The Santa Ana had blown itself out. The red wind was done. It was over.
You have just heard Van Heflin starring in the first of a new mystery series, Raymond Chandler's The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, brought to you by the Lever Brothers Company, makers of Pepsodent. Have you tasted the new Pepsodent toothpaste? Its lingering, minty flavor is so fresh and inviting, families prefer it by an overwhelming average of 3-to-1 over all other toothpastes in a recent nationwide test. They said new Pepsodent tastes better, makes breath cleaner, and makes teeth brighter. Remember, new Pepsodent gives you more invigorating irium foam. It sweeps dulling film away. No wonder it's the 3-to-1 favorite with families all over America. Get new Pepsodent with irium for your family right away. Tonight's story on the adventure of Philip Marlowe was based on Red Wind, written by Raymond Chandler, creator of Philip Marlowe, the screen's most famous private detective. It was adapted for radio by Milton Geiger. Heard with Van Heflin was Lorene Tuttle as Lola Barceley. And this is Wendell Niles inviting you to listen again next week at this same time to another exciting story on The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, starring Van Heflin, with a distinguished cast.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Harding, Counterspy, calling Washington. Harding, Counterspy, calling Washington.
The Blue Network presents Philip H. Lord's Counterspy. A counterspy is a United States undercover agent whose duty it is to smash the professional enemy spies operating in our midst. Imagine ace counter-spy of them all as David Harding.
Those are the footsteps of Liza Gott as she walks along the narrow, rocky path which runs on top of a high cliff, looking out over the sea on the northern coast of Maine. 42 years ago, Liza Gott married. Mark Gott, her husband, sailed away and was drowned. For 41 years, Liza Gott has kept a little kerosene lantern lit on her front porch. So just in case Mark should return, he'd see the lighted lantern from the sea and know she was waiting.
Well.
Liza Gott is nearing her little house on the top of the cliff where she stays alone. Liza sees something on her front porch. She can see it by the light of the lantern.
That's funny. I didn't leave nothing on the front porch. It looks like a man. It is a man. What are you doing on my front porch?
Oh.
Wake up. Oh. I said, what you doing lying on my front porch?
Oh, I was just lying here. I'm exhausted. Guess I fell asleep.
You're a stranger.
Yes. I've had a narrow escape. I landed here in a lifeboat. Saw your lantern lit, so I came up here. When I found nobody was in, I was too tired to go anywhere else.
What happened to you?
I was in a small Norwegian lumber schooner. There were 5 of us. Just off the Horseshoe Reefs, we were torpedoed. I got the lifeboat over alone. The others were killed in the blast. I was way after. I'd have been killed, too.
One of those terrible German or Japanese submarines?
Yes, it happened yesterday morning. I've been rowing for land ever since. Then I heard a bellboy. And about an hour later, I landed on the beach, down there.
You've had a terrible time, ain't you?
Could you give me a little food? Let me stay here tonight?
Come in. You've got to be took care of.
Thank you.
I'll have to light up a light.
Shall I bring in the lantern?
No, sir. That lantern stays there lit under all conditions. And it ain't never going out nor being took in. So long as I'm conscious. There. Now you can see.
I'm sorry to trouble you.
Tain't no trouble at all.
May I inquire your name?
Liza Gott. And it's got 2 T's and no E before the L. Liza, not Eliza. What's your name?
Berkman. Frank Berkman.
You look pretty tuckered. Here. Now just lie down here on this sofa and make yourself comfortable.
Oh, I have been through a good deal.
Well, now you stretch right out. Put your head up here. And your feet down there. Now, are you quite sure you're comfortable?
Oh, I never was more comfortable in my life.
Well, that's good. There. Now you can rest in peace.
Who do you want?
Stanley, this is Liza. Get me quick as you can the Counterspy headquarters in Washington. And I want to speak to the head of it, no young stripling.
You go on, Daffy.
Do as I tell you, Fanny. Get me the head of the Counterspies.
Well, I still think you're Daffy, but I'll ring 'em.
Fanny, ain't you got Washington yet?
Yeah, we got Counterspy headquarters, but they're getting the head of it. I said it was a calamity.
Hello. This is Harding speaking.
This is Liza Gott, a Loganberry Point, Maine. I've caught me a spy.
Pardon me. Would you say that again?
I'm Liza Gott, a Loganberry Point, Maine. And I've caught me a spy.
Naturally, I'm a little dumbfounded. Where is he?
Well, lying on the sofa over there.
But if he hears you, why doesn't he get up?
What? You ain't see the condition he's in.
Is he unconscious?
Very.
And how do you know he's a spy?
Well, he told me about rowing alone and hearing our bellboy at the Narrows and then rowing an hour and landing on our beach. Well, I was born here, and I know this coast, and there ain't nobody rowing from the bellboy at the reef to this shore on an ebb tide in 1 hour. He's a prevaricator.
What is Loganberry Point near?
Ain't near nothing. The nearest place is Stuyvesant. Well, that ain't near nothing either.
Well, this is very unusual. But I'll leave by plane immediately. Get to Loganberry Point somehow.
Well, it's very nice of you, Captain Stinson, to drive me over to Loganberry Point. The plane couldn't seem to find a nearer landing place.
No?
You don't suppose, do you, Captain, that the horse might trot a little?
I'm not much worried about it.
No. I mean, could you make her trot?
No. I put her out to pasture when she was 22. She's been out there 8 years now. I had to call her back into harness when the gas rationing went in. She has enough trouble to stand up. Say nothing of trotting.
I see. Do you happen to know Eliza Gott over at Loganberry Point, Captain Stinson?
Yep.
Is she quite a responsible person?
Salt of the earth.
I just thought I'd visit her.
You mean room there?
Yes.
You don't know Eliza?
What do you mean?
You'll find out when you get there.
Come right in, Mr. Harding.
Thank you, Mrs. Gutt. I took a plane as far as Stuyvesant and then had to drive over. Now, where's this man you captured?
In the woodshed.
Woodshed?
That's where he is. No man but my past husband ever spent a night under this roof. And there ain't no man ever going to. Don't you want to put down your suitcase?
Oh, no, thank you. I have some equipment in it.
Oh. Now, you'll have to go the rest of the way yourself. He's right in there, laid out on a cord of wood. I ain't going into no woodshed with no two men.
All right, Mrs. Gott. I'll go look. Sort of the worse for wear. Come on. Here, come on.
Go away. Go away.
Now, come on, sit up. There, sit up.
Oh, it's you. Are you the man she'd been waiting for?
Yes.
Then get me out of here. I had to pretend I was unconscious, or she'd have killed me.
What do you mean?
After she dragged me out here, she'd come out every hour. And if I was conscious, she'd hit me over the head with that piece of stove wood. Knock me out. Look at my head.
I can't tell how much of it is your head and how much is bumps on top of your head.
She'd hit me over the head, just as cool and systematic as though she were a pile driver.
Let me have your fingers. I want to take your prints.
No.
You'd better, or I might call Mrs. Gott back. Oh, that's better. I'll telephone your prints to Washington, and we'll see who you really are.
G6, Counterspy Headquarters, Washington, reporting to Harding. The fingerprints you just telephoned in are prints of Dr. Sleston, who left San Francisco for Portugal 18 months ago. He was employed in the Stillwell plants while they were experimenting on cargo-carrying air transports. It looks like Dr. Slesson is the one we have been expecting the Gestapo to try and smuggle into the country. Come in.
I'm glad to know it's Slesson we've got. It's quite obvious Slesson has been sent in to secure all possible information on the newly contemplated cargo-carrying transport. This is a job the Gestapo probably allowed him about a week to complete. And then they must have made arrangements to get him out. I'll check with you later tonight. Well, Berkman, or Slesson, you just heard that conversation. We know who you are and why you're here.
I guess there isn't any sense to my denying. After all the plans, I had to bump into that woman.
You going to talk?
No.
I see. Well, as the people of Loganberry Point would say, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Martha, church bell's ringing. Something's up. Put it on your hat, Martha, the one with the yellow ribbon.
The church bell's ringing, and it ain't go to meeting night. They must be calling it for something special.
You have been called to the church here at the request of Mr. Harding concerning an important matter. I am proud to see every person of Loganberry Point present. Mr. Harding of Washington.
Citizens of Loganberry Point, I know you're all aware of the circumstances of the German spy who landed and was apprehended here.
He means cop.
Yeah.
Now, our government knows why he was sent here. His mission would ordinarily take him a week. It is logical to expect he would be returned to Germany by the same route he arrived. Well, this part of the coast was selected because it's very sparsely populated. The Gestapo evidently believed landing here would be very simple. By all logic, I expect arrangements have been made by the submarine to pick him up at this very place within the week.
Did you ever hear the beat?
All of you men present are lobster fishermen, or go out handlining and setting trot lines. You know the reefs and shoals like your own backyard. You can weave in and out of them on the blackest nights and in the thickest fog. I'm calling for volunteers. Every night I want 6 fishermen to pretend that their motors have gone back on them and remain out there in their launches. Now, it's a dangerous undertaking. There's a chance you might be captured and even tortured for information. How many of you men are willing to volunteer? This is a sight I wish every American could see. Some of you are over 80, some in your teens. And not a man in this church who isn't standing.
Wir haben breaking water, Herr Kapitän. Wegen des Surfers.
Gut, machen Sie auf.
It is very foggy and dark, Herr Kapitän. We are among the reefs. I suggest you come on deck.
Aufpassen. Ich komme sofort. Bleiben Sie bei den Motoren.
Get a hold of it. Get the ropes around it.
What's going on? What is that?
Throw me that rope, or I will shoot. When we surfaced, we came up right alongside that little fishing boat. There is a fisherman on it.
Good. Bring him aboard. We will question him about these waters. Take him down to the control room.
He looks like an old man.
Get him below.
Ring him aft. The captain wants him below decks, in the control room.
Blackout ship.
Jawohl, Herr Kapitän.
Charge batteries. Hans Borgmann will soon be here.
He smells fish all over him. Get down there, you fish!
Ben, what are you doing out on your boat? Late at night in the fog.
I was doing me a mess of fishing. My cussed motor broke down.
So? Perhaps it didn't break down. Perhaps you're out here spying.
Do you think they'd give me an important job like that? An old seaman over 70? See, with a wooden leg.
Yeah, you're right. You are too old. What's your name?
Stinson. Captain Egbert R. Stinson.
So you're a captain. Captain of fish, perhaps.
Well, if you understand, sir, for 50 years I was captain of sailing ships. And I never lost a one.
Yeah? If you are so good, where are we right now?
In the devil of a fog, if that'll help you.
You know what I mean. What's our location? How far off Horseshoe Reef are we?
You're a quarter mile northeast, sir.
You're lying.
I know it.
So you dare lie. I think we can take care of that. Mate, a hot iron from the galley.
But I will get the wire for his neck.
Well, I never see a room with so many gadgets in it before. We didn't need all these wires on a sailing ship.
How far are we from the lighthouse?
A lighthouse? Oh, let me see. As the crow flies, I think I'd say about 1,000,000 miles.
You talk. You will talk plenty.
All right, I'll talk, you dirty vermin. The sea is clean. It's decent. Not a foul like the likes of you. Before you're through, you and this rotten hook will be at the bottom of the sea, but the fish won't trouble your carcasses. There isn't one foul enough to eat you. Curse you and all your foul kings. There and there.
Put on that fire axe to begin you.
Go ahead. Shoot. Instant speed. There. Keep on shooting. Keep on. I'll have it all minutes before you can kill me.
Er ist wahnsinnig geworden. Vollständig verrückt.
Get him! What is the matter? Shoot this crazy fool!
Come near and I'll chop your head off.
Look, idiot. Crazy fool. 6 bullets to stop him.
Have the chief engineer and electrician both come to central control at once.
Jawohl, Herr Kapitän. Chief engineer, electrician, report to central control at once. Inspect, repair damage.
Rig for hand control. We see what that maniac has done to our automatic gear.
Herr Kapitän, the master rail started damage. Impossible to say how long it will take to repair. Main periscope eyepiece also is broken.
The depth indicator dial is completely wrecked, Herr Kapitän.
How long will it take to repair?
2 or 3 hours, Herr Kapitän.
The compressed airline is breached. Several hours to repair. Also, main ballast handbelt jammed.
Verflucht noch einmal. All this damage with the axe.
Hello?
This is Elmer Greeley reporting from the lighthouse. Is that you, Mr. Harden?
Yes.
The submarine's out here.
Good. Good. What are the facts?
Well, Rick Googins just landed. His boat was lying about a quarter of a mile from old Captain Stinson's. He heard the sub come up, and they evidently captured Captain Stinson and took him on board.
Go on.
Red stuck around a few minutes, and he heard a lot of commotion, and then men trying to get the submarine to go down. But it sounded like it couldn't, like something had happened. So Red paddled his launch far enough away so they couldn't hear his motor, and then got to the lighthouse here.
Fine. I've got all the information I need right now. I want to hang up and then use this phone. Now, let's see. I turn this little crank here.
Yes, ring it long and loud. Sometimes Penny, the operator, lays down and takes naps.
Now, Miss Scott, would you run down the path and ring the church bell? Emergency.
Yes,
If the bell rings late at night, they know that to bring what guns they have and rush for the wharf.
Hello?
Oh, operator, get me that number I wrote out for you yesterday.
Oh, yes, Mr. Harding. Yes, sir.
Now, please hurry, Mrs. Scott. Have that church bell rung.
Oh, Revere said 1 if by land and 2 if by sea.
Naval Control.
This is Harding reporting. Relay to destroyer Smithville. Proceed at once 1 mile southeast of Sand Island Light. German submarine on surface.
Immediately, sir.
Relay to Coast Guard. Carry out Plan 3, if possible, and fog does not prevent. Otherwise, Plan 2.
Immediately, sir.
Include in Navy message that because of present emergency, I'm going to try to get armed fishermen to submarine first. So if destroyer reaches submarine, watch for all clear signal, which will indicate presence of Americans on board.
Yes, sir.
Those of you with the slowest motorboat start out first.
Here's Sandy's gun. Some men take it.
I want all of you men to understand that this is an extraordinary situation. You're all volunteering on your own accord.
They all want to go.
Now, the reason we're taking things in our own hands is because it's so foggy the planes can't spot the sub. It's too foggy for the destroyer to come in among these reefs until daybreak. Indications are that something's happened to that submarine, and it can't submerge. Would you say, Captain Lawson, that there was a very heavy swell out there near Horseshoe Ledge?
Plenty heavy. After a 3-day nor'easter, they've got a roll out there that's standing them on their heads.
Well, that means the fire from the submarine will be very inaccurate. Now, when we sight her, you're all to fan out and make a circle around her. When you hear Captain Lawson blow his foghorn twice, head right for her. Start shooting and picking off the men manning the guns. With 30 launches coming at her in all directions and the fog and the heavy roll of the sea, she'll have her hands full. We'll all board her at the same time, from all sides of her.
That ball is starting out.
All right, men, your launches. Good luck.
And remember, your women folks will be standing right here and waiting.
That's her, Captain Lawson. A dark shape, about 2 points to starboard.
Damn scum. Should I blow the foghorn twice?
No. Twice is to attack her. Blow it once, so they'll fan out and approach her from all sides. Now slow the motor. Give the others time to get around her.
I didn't realize how patriotic I'd be till I started thinking of them Burmans setting foot on our shore.
I've never seen a thicker fog.
She spotted us. Shall I head for her?
No, she's only shooting at the sound of our motor.
Who are you? Hands off, or we shoot.
We won't reply. Let him stew.
Who are you?
Get ready, Captain Lawson, to blow your foghorn. 2 blasts.
I ain't had so much fun since Liza's cow fell in the well.
All right. Sound the signal.
Take the wheel, will you, Mr. Harding? Let me do a little gunning.
Go ahead. But the minute we touch her, jump aboard.
Try to land at Loganberry Point, will they? The whole German crew's on deck. Captain Mulligan's alongside.
Get that crew by the aft gun there.
They're falling like 10 pins, Harding.
Just order. Let your own boats go so others can come alongside.
Press right into her, Harding. I want to get out of here.
Watch yourself now. Jump.
Come on, Bill. Come on.
You understand, Commander, as we stand here in the control room of your submarine, that you and all your crew are prisoners of the United States.
Tja, das ist zu erwarten. Krieg schon. I am helpless.
And there at your feet an old sea captain with 12 bullet holes. Evidently kicked in the face after he was dead.
He was shoving at our controls with a fire axe. We had to shoot him. We shoot him 6 times before he fall.
Captain Stinson was a neighbor of mine.
What arm of the American forces have we been captured by?
The fishermen of Loganberry Point.
Mr. Hardy! Mr. Hardy! United States destroyer approaching out of the Foster.
How in Sam Hill did a destroyer get in among these shoals on a night like this? That's real navigating for you.
What am I supposed to do now?
You're expected to surrender your submarine and your crew and yourself to the greatest navy in all the world.
His neighbors at Loganberry Point return the earthly remains of one who has lived among us for so many years. Captain Stinson, if he had had 1,000 lives, he would have chosen no other way to have given them all. And so, we of Loganberry Point, not mournfully, but with pride in our hearts, say goodbye to a great American who lived as an American and died as one. God bless America, the land of the free.
Counterspy, featuring David Harding, is presented at the same time every Monday evening. We suggest that you tell your friends that you make it a weekly date to gather around the radio at this time, as America's 8th Counterspy works to protect us from the spies of our enemies. Counterspy is a Philip H. Lord production which has originated in New York. This is the Blue Network.
Station WJZ New York, which brings you fun and excitement as you listen to the Sing Badot program at 77 on your dial every Tuesday night at 8:30.
Crime does not pay.
All right, Williams, we're coming in.
Well, come on in, blast you. I can't stop you now. You broke my arm, that's what.
Foreman Williams, you're under arrest. Charged with forgery, resisting officers of the law, and murder.
Oh, murder, is it? Who did I murder, huh? You got a copper stiletto tie?
You'll find out in due time. All right, get off that floor now and come along.
I demand proper medical attention. You can't prove no murder, you can't. Because you ain't got any copper stiletto tie. No body of the crime.
In the interest of good citizenship and law enforcement, we present Crime Does Not Pay, based on the famous Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer series of short subjects. In just a moment, you will hear Crime, featuring Parker Fennelly. There's little doubt that one of the major motives, if not the major motive back of crime, is greed. For instance, Norman Williams was a fairly prosperous farmer in a western state at the turn of the century. But Williams, deep in his heart, wanted far more than he had, and didn't particularly care how he obtained it. His neighbors and the good people of the town nearby thought of Williams as another ordinary, decent citizen. That's how it happened that Ted Curtis, the owner and proprietor of Curtis Livery Stable, barely gave the matter a second thought the stormy night when Norman Williams turned up at the door of his establishment.
Men could drown out here.
All right. What's on your mind? Norman Williams. What you doing out on a night like this?
No time for talk, Curtis. My horse took it into his fool head to bolt on account of the thunder. Will you rent me a rig?
You ought to be putting up at the hotel.
Will you lend me a rig? I'm getting home tonight, storm or no storm.
Oh, all right, take it easy. No cause for temper. But inside, you can have the buckboard. That's good enough for a night like this. And give me a hand while I harness up for you. There you are, Williams. That'll be $5, payable now.
I'll give you $2.
You want to get home tonight? I'm risking the horse and the buckboard. $5.
$2.50.
Settle for $3.
Yeah, here's your $3.
Yeah.
Now let me get out of here.
Still don't see why you had to have a rig. Take it easy now. Take it easy. Road's probably pretty bad out your way.
I'm driving here. Get up.
And don't use that whip touching your head, sir.
Nosy Parker, that one. Oh, there. Put up. All right, ladies. Climb aboard, and here we go.
Thank you so much, Mr. Williams.
I think nothing of it, ladies.
You've gone to a deal of trouble for us. Wasn't necessary, really.
Wait a minute. You didn't say you had somebody out there with you?
All set, ladies. Get up. Get on.
Who is that, Mr. Williams?
Oh, just the livery stable fella. He's a busybody. Wants to know everything.
I must say, Mr. Williams, you've been through a deal of trouble for two folks you never saw before they came off the train tonight.
Well, you're going to be my neighbors, ain't you? Least I can do is fetch you to your house, night like this.
We could have stayed at the hotel.
That old flea bag. Tom Palmer, he owns that. Spends more time being county clerk. And the hotel shows it, too.
Is it far to our place, Mr. Williams?
Why, just up the road a piece. About a mile past my... Easy, boy. Whoa!
Are we stranded with here?
Yeah, who's he?
My brother.
But, like you said, your father left you the homesteader.
That's right, Mr. Williams. You say something, Mr. Williams?
No, I was just thinking. Ain't much of a son and a brother to let his ma and his sister travel way out west all by themselves.
Oh, Stanley's a good boy. But we couldn't afford but 2 tickets. Still have enough left for incidentals.
City boy, city.
Will we make it to our place, Miss Williams? It's considerable out of your way, too. You're mighty nice to take such trouble.
Why, matter of fact, ladies, if you wouldn't mind my hospitality, I'd be glad to put you up at my place tonight and take you over to yours in the morning.
Oh, that'd be just more trouble. Or, yes, Ma. Well, Alma's probably right, Mr. Williams. We'll be happy to accept your offer. I must say, Mr. Williams, you make a mighty good cup of coffee.
Thank you, ma'am.
You've got a nice place here, Mr. Williams.
Well, all you've seen of it, Miss Johnson, is the kitchen. And with burlap bags all over the floor on account of the wet.
Shows you're neat, Mr. Williams.
Well, I scratched what I've got out of the dirt. You know, this is rough country out here. Soil's none too good either.
We heard it was very fertile.
Yeah, then you heard wrong. It's a back-breaking job getting a living here. Nothing for a couple of women. Now, unless you sell the place.
But if the land's bad, who'll buy?
I would. Seeing as how you're my neighbors and all.
What kind of a price, Mr. Williams?
Oh, I couldn't give you much. 50 cents an acre, maybe?
Not much. Hardly pay our fare back home. Aren't you in an awful hurry to buy our place, Mr. Williams?
Just a friendly offer, Miss Johnson.
Maybe we should consider it, Alma. It's my land and I'm not selling. Not until I see it, anyhow.
Well, nobody else will buy. And if you wait, my offer goes down to 2 bits an acre.
You're trying to force a sale, Mr. Williams. All this hospitality is nothing but a come-on.
I'm telling you to sell. You understand?
Alma, see. And I won't sell. What are you writing?
Writing a bill of sale. That's good as a deed anytime. And you to me for your homestead.
I told you, Mr. Williams, I'm not selling my land.
And I say you are. Now, sign your name right there.
Oh, don't be frightened, Mother. This nasty old man doesn't scare me.
I ain't worried about you, young lady. I can take care of you, all right. But you might be worried about your mother.
You wouldn't dare touch us.
No? Who's to stop me? How do you like...
Oh! You killed her.
Oh, no, not yet. Not yet. I just knocked her out, like I would a goat before I cut its throat.
No, that knife.
Will you sell that land?
No, you can't make me sell it. And don't you touch my mother. It's not the land. There's something on it.
Sure, but not on it. Under it. Oil. And I'm the only one that knows.
What are you doing with my mother? Let go of her hair. Stop it.
I'm just putting her over on the burlap. I wouldn't want to mess up my kitchen. Now, are you selling?
You wouldn't dare kill my mother.
What do I care? Nobody knows who you are or where you come from. Your brother, he ain't got the money to get here. And I can forge your name to the bill of sale just as easy as not. Now, sign it. Sign it.
I can't. Don't make me. Don't force me to. It's all we've got, please. Stop. Let my mother alone.
Just you watch. up. Wake up. Come on, wake up. What's that?
Get a shovel. Get a shovel.
You are a sound sleeper, son. Oh, you. Are you almost there, conductor? I never saw anybody sleep like you do in these hard seats. Hey, what's all this about a shovel? I don't know. I've been dreaming. Goes kind of like the wheels, doesn't it? Get a shovel, get a shovel. Funny. How much more time, sir? 3-4 minutes, we'll be in. Better get your bag out the platform. There's just a flag stop, you know, and he's blowing for the crossing now. Come along, son. Beats me why anybody wants to come to this thing down in the first place. Excuse me, sir. Are you Mr. Curtis?
Yeah, I am. Why?
My name is Johnson, Stanley Johnson.
You a drummer?
No, I'm not selling anything.
What then?
I'm looking for some information. A man at the station said you know everybody here about it.
Yeah, I guess I do. Hand feed business, sides the stable. You looking for somebody?
Yes, my mother and my sister, Sarah and Alma Johnson.
Nobody's with that name around here.
But there must be.
If I don't know them, they ain't here.
But they came here 4 years ago. My father left them some land.
Around here, you say?
Yes. I bought their train tickets myself.
What land?
I believe it was called the Swenson Homestead.
Norton Williams has that land. Filed a deed on it 4 years ago.
4 years ago?
Yeah, there was oil on it. Petered out after a while, but Williams turned himself a nice penny while it lasted.
4 years ago? Mr. Curtis, you're sure there never were any women named Johnson out here?
Huh?
My mother was a small woman. Gray hair, blue eyes. But my sister was tall and very strong.
Hey. Now, wait a minute.
Then you did know them?
Not so fast, son, but I do recollect one night they had a bad storm. Seems like more than 4 years ago, though.
Go on, Mr. Curtis, go on.
Well, Norm Williams got me out of bed, said his horse bolted. I had my buckboard. I remember he must have wanted it bad. He paid $3. Whole job went worth more than $1.50. He drove out in a hurry. I remember now. I saw him the light of my lantern and the lightning, and he picked up 2 women who were waiting in the road for him.
Was their name Johnson?
Well, I don't know. I never saw him again. One was short, another was tall. I guess I remember because I thought at the time it was kind of funny, him paying all that money and letting the women stand out there in the rain.
Mr. Curtis, would you rent me a rig and give me directions to the old Swenson Homestead?
I'll drive you out there myself and charge you only $2.
It's a deal. And could we take along a shovel?
Sure. What for?
Just a hunch. Something I thought of on the train.
I don't know what you think you'll find, son. You sure do keep it that big one. How far down do you think you are?
Maybe 4 feet. Hey, look at this.
There ain't nothing but an old burlap bag.
Yeah, I know. But look at it.
Huh? Looks like somebody's been butchering a cow.
So you think it's blood, too?
Well, sure. Beef blood.
Are these animal hairs, Mr. Curtis?
Well, sure must have been a gray-haired cow with long hair, Mr. Johnson.
Hey, you! What are you doing on my land?
Don't
tell him my name.
Hey! What's this all about? Now, you got no cause to be sore, Norman Williams. Just this here young fella.
I've been demonstrating a new shovel to Mr. Curtis.
Yeah?
Curtis has got plenty of his own land to dig on. You're lying. I resent that, sir. And I say get. You're trespassing here. Now get before I use my shotgun on you.
Now, you got no cause.
I don't know what you're after, Curtis. But ever since you've been made deputy sheriff, you're just too blame nosy.
Yeah.
Now, you get off my land, both of you.
Yeah, he's within his rights. Let's go.
Yes, of course. Next time I find you here, I won't be firing over your head.
Blame fool's going to get into trouble with that tempo. Here's one of these days. Yeah.
He's in trouble now. But he doesn't know it yet.
That's up. He's within his rights. No warrant, so we were trusted.
But I've got the burlap. Miss Curtis, you're driving me straight to your district attorney.
seat as Henry Johnson and Ted Curtis drove to the county seat. The deputy sheriff brought them in to see the district attorney quickly. That gentleman listened to the story as Stanley told it, and then stated flatly,
Curtis, if you weren't here to vouch for Johnson's story, I'd think he was crazy. Why, I've known Norman Williams all my life. He's a respected citizen and well off since he struck that pool of oil.
Yeah, it happened, Ted, just like the young man said.
May I ask a question?
Go right ahead.
Do you remember any of the details of Williams getting title to the Swenson homestead?
Well, nothing much. He filed a bill of sale in place of deed, if I remember correctly.
Did anybody ever suspect there was oil hereabouts?
Oh, from time to time there's been a little. They had a well going over on the Myers place about 10 years ago, and another on the Korowskis.
How did they find those sources?
Well, I remember about Joe Meyer. He was sinking a well for water, and he got oil.
Any surface indication?
Well, sometimes a well or water hole will show an oily surface.
Could Williams have noticed that on the Swenson property?
He might have. Roamed it pretty freely up until the time he bought it.
Right after he got it, he was pretty busy, though. He had a big brush fire going there one day. About 4 years ago, too, that was.
Brush fire?
Now, don't go thinking about murder again, son.
I'm sorry. After all, they were my mother and sister, you know.
Young fellow, you seem pretty positive about all this.
Well, maybe there isn't any evidence. But if it's all right with you, I'd like to examine that bill of sale. After all, I suppose if she is dead, I'm my sister's heir.
I remember it perfectly. 4 years back. Seemed a little irregular, but perfectly legal. Yeah, here it is. A letter, you see. Dear Mr. Williams, carrying out our agreement, this letter will advise all and sundry that the undersigned, for proper consideration, sells to you with all right and title of the tract known as the Swenson Homestead, of which I am the sole owner of record. Very truly yours, Alma Johnson.
May I see that, Mr. Palmer?
Sure can. There's the stamp on it, registered. County Clerk, Herkimer County.
I see that. But, gentlemen, as heaven is my witness, this is not my sister's handwriting.
What? You suggesting forgery, Mr. Johnson?
I know it. That land was all my mother and sister had in the world. They'd never sell it without consulting me first. And I know Alma's handwriting as I know my own.
I see. Would you tell that to a grand jury, Mr. Johnson?
I tell them a lot more. I tell them Williams murdered my mother and my sister.
Oh, easy, son. Easy now. You'd have a hard time proving that.
Why? There's blood and hair in that burlap bag.
We don't even know if it's human blood, much less your family's.
Then I say find out. Make tests. I know I won't rest until the man who killed Alma, my mother, is made to pay for his crime.
Norm Williams? You home?
What get me?
Williams, you in there? Sheriff and me, we'd like to talk to you. I don't want no visitors today. Come back tomorrow.
Sorry, Williams. We gotta see you now.
Come on out, Williams.
Oh, we'll come in.
You don't come on my property, Ted Curtis. I got a warrant.
We have a warrant.
Yeah. Let's see you serve it, Sheriff.
All right, Williams. You're under arrest.
Hey, come and arrest me. Will they? No lawmen will get in here. Oh.
All right, Williams, we're coming in.
Come on, Doctor. I can't stop you now. You broke my arm, that's what.
Norman Williams, you're under arrest. Charged with forgery, resisting officers of the law, and murder.
Oh, murder, is it? Who did I murder, huh? You got a corpus delicti?
You'll find out in due time. All right, get off that floor now and come along.
I demand proper medical attention. You can't prove no murder, you can't. You ain't got any corpus delicti. No body of the crime.
Mr. Johnson, you're under oath. You're certain that your mother and sister came to this town to take possession of the property known as the Swenson Homestead?
I'm positive, sir. My father acquired the property years ago. He willed it to my sister. My mother and sister came here to live until such time as I could join them. I never saw them again.
Mr. Curtis, the night of that storm 4 years ago, did you see anyone besides Mr. Williams when you rented him the buckboard?
And I didn't know him, sir, but I did see two women by the light of my lantern and the flash of lightning. One was short and elderly, and the other one...
Now then, Dr. Sims, are you an expert on blood analysis?
I am, sir.
You conducted on the blood on the burlap bag marked Exhibit A for the state.
I did.
And what did you find?
I found it to be human blood beyond any doubt.
Did it take a large amount of blood to make that stain?
No one could lose that much blood.
Dr. Sims, please answer the next question carefully. We're attempting to set a precedent in this case, as the state has conceded that no actual corpus delicti has been found. Dr. Sims, about the gray hairs found on that burlap bag.
They are human hairs, sir.
Yes, and Doctor, did they come from the head of a living or dead person?
The roots are still in the microscope. Hair from a corpse, sir, never has the roots attached.
Then, as an expert witness, Dr. Sims, what are your conclusions?
That there is evidence of a corpus delicti, even though none has been found. Someone was alive on the defendant's premises, and that someone was killed before he or she left.
Mr. Williams, answer me this. Did you know the people you are accused of murdering? And did you murder them?
I never saw them. I never killed no one. And nobody can prove that I did. But this county is going to pay through the nose for my broken arm.
It is our contention, precedent-setting though it is, that through the brilliant microscopic analysis of Dr. Hannah Sims, we have proven that someone was murdered, and by this defendant. True, as my learned colleague has emphasized so often, there is no actual corpus delicti. But we have evidence that one did exist, which was later destroyed in a certain brush fire on the defendant's property, if in no other way. On this evidence, we ask that your very...
Mr. Foreman, has the jury reached a verdict?
We have, sir.
And what is your verdict?
We find the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree, and so say we all.
You can't do this. You can't. I'll appeal to every court in the state. There wasn't no corpus. No corpus. You can't convict without a corpus. You can't convict without a corpus.
Crime does not pay. Now, here in person is Parker Fennelly.
The case of Norman Williams, as you heard it, is one of the famous cases in legal history. As might have been expected, his conviction was appealed all the way to the highest court of his state, and there it was upheld. And it's interesting to note that this case was a prime legal point in the conviction of Bruno Richard Hauptmann for the murder of the Lindbergh baby. However, to me, it's even more interesting that the wheels of the law were set in motion in this case by a plain citizen, a young man very much like ourselves, who refused to believe that his mother and sister had merely disappeared. Once the law began to move, it never stopped. The truth had been proven in open court, demonstrating once again that crime does not pay.
Thank you, Parker Fennelly. Crime Does Not Pay is written by Ira Marion and directed by Mark D. Loeb, with music composed and conducted by John Gart. Technical advisor is Burton D. Curtis. The events, characters, and names used in the story you've just heard are fictitious. Any similarity is purely coincidental.
Gangbusters. Gangbusters, presented in cooperation with police and federal law enforcement departments throughout the United States. The only national program that brings you authentic police case histories.
Presents the case of the Carnival caper, when robbery rode the big show train, until police officers found a mysterious passenger and stopped murder on the Carnival Midway.
Gangbusters has asked the Honorable Victor E. Anderson, United States Attorney in Minnesota, to narrate by proxy tonight's case. Now, Mr. Anderson, you told me that the crime in tonight's case was one of the most extraordinary in modern times.
That's right, Don Gardner. It was never ascertained exactly in the jurisdiction of which state the criminals finally got their hands on the loot they sought.
Well, do you mean that they got the loot in midair, so to speak, Mr. Anderson?
You'll see, Don. Suppose we start one spring afternoon a few years ago in the city of East St. Louis, Illinois. A flashily dressed, slightly built man in the middle 30s walked toward a second-floor door in an old but nicely kept apartment building. He set on the floor what looked like a brand-new suitcase, then knocked with a rhythm.
Oh, this is stepping back. Madam, let me introduce myself. I have here the...
Yeah? Oh.
Madam, I have here...
Come on in, Cookie.
I have here the finest kitchen utensil ever put on the market.
You have what?
It saves you 93 steps a day plus 116 separate and distinct motions. Hiya, May.
What's this all about?
What's it all about? Ain't it obvious? I got myself a keister and $3 worth of potato peelers, and I'm a businessman. How do you like the keister?
Oh, Cookie.
Look, you press a button and legs pop up.
Yeah.
See? Ain't that some gimmick? You see a crowd gather, you go over. Boom, you make the pitch. And the potato peelers ain't bad either.
Who needs a potato peeler?
Well, if you fixed a meal around here once in a while... one would come in handy.
Oh, yeah?
Look, I was walking down Broadway this afternoon. I see a grifter giving his pitch to a bunch of women standing there with their mouths open. The dollar bills was rolling in, and the junkie was passing out wasn't worth a dime. Not a nickel.
What do you need the keister for? Carnival gets rolling in a week. You got a good job waiting for you.
Look, that's just the idea, May. I decided I ain't going on the road with the show this season. Hey, you want to try one of these potato peelers?
No.
The Atomic Super Skinner, it's called. Great moniker, huh? Lots of sales.
Oh, this morning you were hot to get back with the show. This afternoon you got a keister and Atomic Super Skinners. Why the quick switch?
Well, baby, I figured 5 months without you. That's too much for me.
Cookie, you're such a big liar. They ought to put you in the freak tent.
No, honest, May, I'm nuts about you. I couldn't stand it.
Why aren't you going out with the show?
That's the truth.
Yeah?
All right, I ran into Vince Beggs, and we had a couple of beers.
Well, what's he got to do with it?
Well, Vince has got an idea. He and another guy, Ward or something. You know him?
No.
Well, the idea is, since the show's a big moneymaker, the safe in the office wagon ought to be loaded. He figures they could knock it over like that in some jerkwater town we're playing.
So, you're leaving the show?
May, you know how Vince is. If I went out with the show, he'd make me promise I'd do the finger work. Well, I ain't going out with the show. I'm through being a rotten Connie. I got a keister and I'm a businessman.
You could have just said no to Vince.
Who, me?
Yeah.
To Vince? How can I say no to Vince? Look, May, once was enough. I don't want to get jammed up again. I like the fresh air. I don't want to see the inside of no jailhouse again.
Cookie.
So I'm through with the show.
How much do they keep in that office wagon safe?
I don't know. At the right time, maybe 30, 40,000. Look, May, I ain't getting involved.
Cookie, don't you love me?
What's this got to do with love?
Cookie, think of all the things we could have.
Yeah, stripes I could have. And about 10 years to wash them off.
You got the easiest part of it.
I know, but... Look, May, don't start pounding it in two, will you?
I think you ought to go out with the show and do it for Vince. And for me.
Oh.
After it's over, we'll have the time of our lives. Just you and me, honey.
You really think it's okay?
Sure, it's okay, honey. Now, just forget about that keister and those potato peelers. You're going back with the show and treat him to the biggest stunt that Carnival's ever seen. Hello, Vince.
Well, May?
Cookie got himself a keister and some potato peelers. He told me he wasn't going out with the show.
Oh. Sit down, baby. Didn't you talk to him?
Sure, I talked to him, Vince.
And everything's okay?
He leaves Tuesday.
May, you're a wonder.
Because Cookie does handstands for me, that makes me a wonder?
Baby, you're a wonder because I say so.
Okay. Now, what's in this deal for me?
Figure out what's in it for me, and that's what's in it for you.
You sure must think a lot of me, Vince, making me keep Cookie happy.
That's business, baby. After Cookie goes out with the show, that's when our pleasure starts. With Cookie in there pitching with the information, it ought to be as simple as driving down Main Street on Sunday.
Let's hope so. You've got more faith in Cookie than I have.
Cookie's job is easy. All he's got to do is pass along the dope and keep his mouth shut.
That's easy, keeping his mouth shut?
Easy enough. After I have a nice long chat with him.
Who's this Walter somebody? What's he in the deal?
A working man. An artist. One of the slickest guys with a safe dial and combination I know.
And he's going to take a big slice, huh?
He's worth it. You want a drink, babe?
No. No, let's get out of here.
How about your place?
No, thanks. Cookie's home.
Okay. I can think of some place he isn't. Let's go, baby.
Honest, May, I don't want to go out with the show.
If he missed the season of the Carnival, he dies. Isn't that right, man?
Yeah, come on, get on the train. Cookie's going to pull out.
Well...
Your eyes open, Cookie.
Yeah, Vince, sure.
Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, goodbye, Cookie.
I'm going to miss you, May.
Don't forget to change your socks.
Oh, May.
Keep those letters coming, Cookie.
Yeah, I'll keep them coming. So long. So long.
There he goes, baby. There goes our meal ticket.
And into water. What's the prize? Did you say what's the prize? Well, you get to see that beautiful golden-haired creature take a bath. 3 balls for a quarter. Here you are, bud.
Hey, Cookie.
Hey, Vince. I didn't expect to see you in Minneapolis until tomorrow. 3 balls for a quarter. Knock the little lady into the drink.
It's a big deal. He decided to spend a little more time on the job.
Look, don't make yourself so obvious around the lot, will you? 3 balls for a quarter. How about that, fella? 3 balls for a quarter.
I got water at the Hotel Henry. Meet me there tonight after the show closes.
Wait for it! Listen, Vince, I don't want to go through with this deal. I've been out with the show long enough. I want to go back and see May.
Is that so?
Yeah. 3 months away from her's enough. I got to go back home and see her.
Meet me at the hotel, Vince. There's a little surprise waiting for you.
What kind of surprise?
I knew how much you missed May, so I brought her along.
You're kidding?
She's at the hotel.
Oh, Vince, you're a pal, a real pal.
Come over after the show's closed.
After it's closed, I'm coming now.
Stick on the job, will you? The big day's soon. I don't want you to do nothing but cause talk.
But May... Okay. 3 balls for a quarter, gents. Come on, 3 balls for a quarter. Knock the little lady off her perch and into the water. What's the prize? Did you say what's the prize? Why, you get to see that beautiful golden-haired creature take you back. 3 balls for a quarter.
I asked you, Vince. I asked you not to tell him you brought me along.
So I told him. He's got to be kept happy. Isn't that right, Walter?
Oh, no.
Well, I didn't come all the way to Minneapolis to keep Cookie happy.
Look, I'm just a mechanic in his deal, but I say we're all in this for the dough we can get out of it. I don't care who's happy. Where is this Cookie guy?
He'll be here, Walter.
When? Nearly 2 in the morning.
What are you, an early riser?
Strangely enough, yeah.
All right.
Safecracker who's an early riser.
There he is.
Let him in, May.
Why me?
I'm not glad to see him.
Yeah, I'm sick of that. All right, take it easy.
May, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Cut it out.
Oh, May, I'm so glad to see you. It's been like being a year back in stir.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to see you, too.
Come over here, Cookie.
Hi, Vince. Come on, baby. Gee, it's great seeing you.
Yeah.
How you doing, Cookie? Hi, Walter. What do you say we all go out and get a few drinks, huh?
No. We got a lot of talking to do, Cookie.
Talking? We can talk anytime. Let's just...
Cookie.
Oh. Okay. Talking.
The show breaks out in Minneapolis Saturday night. What's the schedule, Cookie?
Well, the show train gets loaded Sunday morning. Pulls out later in the day. We open in Wichita, Kansas, Tuesday.
What about the stops?
Well, the first one's scheduled for Farmington.
Farmington?
Where's that?
Still Minnesota.
They got to water and feed the menagerie. I guess the train will lay on the side in a couple hours.
Does the office wagon still ride on a flat car up near the front?
Didn't I write to you, Dad?
They could have changed it sometime during the season.
Well, if they changed it, I wouldn't have written to you. Wouldn't I, May?
Yeah.
All right. We'll be in Farmington when your show train pulls in. That all right with you, Walter?
Any place all right with me, just as long as I got room to cut a hole in the bottom of the office wagon.
You got plenty of room. The wagon rides on top of flat car, like I told you.
Okay. That's it. Walter and I'll drive out there today and locate a good spot for us to wait. We'll let you know where to meet us, Cookie.
Meet you? For what?
It's a 3-man job. That's for what?
Oh, now, wait a minute.
Wait, nothing. We need you.
This is my part of the deal, the information. I didn't bargain for nothing else. Ain't that right, May?
Don't look at me. I don't know what kind of deals you made.
You'll be there to give us a hand. And after it's over, you go back to the show and stay with it the rest of the season.
Do I have to?
Sure you have to. You leave the show after the job and you look suspicious.
Yeah, but I got to spend some time with May.
You'll have all winter with me, Cookie. All winter.
We'll let you know where to meet us in Farmington. Okay, Walter?
Looks like a soft touch to me. An awful soft touch.
So, Don, as soon as the train got underway, these criminals planned to saw a hole in the floor of the Carnival office wagon, which was loaded aboard the flat car. The escapade looked like a certain success, until another train brought an unwanted passenger.
Now back to Gangbusters. You were telling us, United States Attorney Anderson, that burglars planned to board a flat car of a Carnival train on which was loaded the office wagon of the show.
That's right, Don. And it was their intention to saw a hole in the bottom of the office wagon as the train rolled through the dead of night and open the small safe in which the funds of the show were kept. Late on the night of September 7th, the train had pulled onto a siding at Farmington, Minnesota to water and feed the menagerie as Cookie said it would. In the high weeds near the spot where the office wagon car had stopped, the other two conspirators were waiting.
Cookie. I'll kill her for not showing up.
The tour rescue managements don't look so tough after all.
When I tell them to show up, I want them here.
Better keep your head down in the weeds. One of them trainmen's liable to spot us. Looks like they get finished up back there.
Okay. Grab the tools. Got him. Let's go. Okay. Get her. Give me your hand.
That's the signal to pull out.
Lay low. Pick up the guy with the lantern.
Forward! All aboard! Forward! All aboard! All aboard!
I'll say we're all aboard.
Shut up and lay low.
Hey, that cookie punk doesn't come in for a full cut.
We'll see.
He didn't show up for the job, did he?
I'll take care of Cookie. Let's get busy on the floorboards.
From the Director, Federal Bureau of Investigation, to all field offices. Robbery of Reuben and Cherry Exposition show train while in transit Minneapolis to Wichita, Kansas. Total loot, $64,697. Cash included bills of $100, $500, and $1,000 denominations. All field offices directed to be on alert for spenders' unusually large bills.
Three balls for one. Knock the little lady off her perch, and knock her into the drink.
Hey, Cookie, did you hear about it, Cookie?
I hear about what?
There's FBI guys all over the lot. Some from St. Paul, some from Kansas City. Come here to Wichita special.
No kidding.
They got an idea it was an inside job.
Sure it was an inside job. Where'd anybody get the dope on the office wagon unless it was an inside job?
Are they questioning you yet?
Me?
Sure you. They're questioning everybody on the lot, everybody, from Mr. Signer checks all the way down.
What do they want with me? $3 for a quarter. How about it, fella? $3 for a quarter?
What did they want with you? What did they want with me? I was on the grill for an hour nearly.
No kidding.
I told you, there's FBI's all over the place.
They'll never get a line.
I ain't too sure they ain't got a line already.
Huh? Who are you? J. Edgar Hoover?
It's okay. I got information.
Yeah?
Yeah. The rides foreman told me he had it from the ticket boss who got it right from Mr. Signer Checks himself. The FBI's on the right track, and they'll wrap the whole thing up before the show breaks Wichita.
$3 for a quarter. Here you are, fella. 3 for a quarter.
And he said it's somebody right here on the lot. That's who they're after, somebody right here on the lot. Fact of the business is they know who it is already. They're just waiting for him to make a move before they haul him in.
Go on, Joe. Get back to your stand before somebody hauls you in. Here you are, gents. $3 for a quarter. Knock the little lady off her perch and into drink. Knock her into drink and see that beautiful golden-haired creature take a bath. See her take a bath right before...
No, Vince, cut it out. I have to finish packing.
There's lots of time for packing, baby. We could stay in East St. Louis for another week. Come here.
Vince.
Tell me how much you miss Cookie.
Look, I really have to finish packing. You wanted to make Hot Springs the first night.
So we won't make Hot Springs.
And it'd be much nicer if we didn't have to drag that Walter along.
Walter's good for a lot of things, May, baby. He,
What's the matter?
Somebody's putting a key in the door.
I'll bet it's Cookie.
Oh, you're crazy. He couldn't be here.
May,
Hey, what are you doing back here?
What's it look like I'm doing? I came back to see May. Hi, sweetheart.
Well, Cookie, you shouldn't have come.
Who wants to stick around that show any longer? Things are getting hot.
I told you to stay out the season. Why didn't you show up to do the job?
I'll tell you why. Because I played it smart. That's why. The FBI was around questioning everybody where they were the night of the job.
They didn't talk to you.
Sure they did. I was on the back end of the train, setting up all night, playing pinochle. I had 7 witnesses. Counting kibitzers.
You should have stuck out the season like I told you.
Yeah, well, you go back and work that lousy midway in my place. I came home to see my May. And I was going to... Hey, where were you counting on going?
What do you mean?
What are you packing your bags for? That's what I mean.
She was going to catch the train tonight for Wichita to meet you.
Is that right, May?
Sure, Cookie. Where else would I be going?
You better get back to the show, Cookie. Tell them you were picked up for being drunk or something, but get back today.
I told you I'm staying right here, me and May. And while we're on the subject, which we ain't, where's my cut of the dough?
Walter and I haven't talked it over yet.
What's there to talk over? You take it and you cut it 3 ways.
You think you're entitled to a full share?
Shut up, May. Whose side are you supposed to be on, anyway? I asked what there's there to talk over.
You didn't show up for the job. That entitles you only the tipsters in. 10%.
What are you giving me 10%? I spent a whole summer on the job. You 2 guys spent 1 night. I don't settle for no 10%.
You're getting a little tougher than you used to be, Cookie.
Why shouldn't I get tougher after I see a few of the things that's going on around here? Packed up, huh? Going to Wichita, huh?
Yeah, I was going to wire you, Cookie.
Yeah, you were going to wire me. Anyhow, Vince, what about my dough?
We'll meet Walter tonight and talk it over.
Okay. I'll meet Walter. But I'm getting my full share. Where'd you put that keister of mine, May?
Keister?
Yeah, and the potato peelers.
Oh, in there, in the closet.
Much obliged. I'm going in the potato peeler business this afternoon, which is what I should have done 3 months ago.
Well, what are we going to do now?
So we leave tomorrow instead of today.
He's not going to sit still, Vince.
I've been taking it easy with him, baby. I didn't want him to cause us any trouble. Not until we're set. But tonight he gets the law laid down. About his cut. About you.
I'm Joe Carey. They said they wanted to see me in the office wagon.
Yes, I want to see you. I'm Special Agent Smith, Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Oh, how you?
Sit down, Joe.
Yeah, thanks. You know, another one of you FBI guys talked to me yesterday.
I know. It's about something different today.
Look, I didn't have nothing to do with the robbery, if that's what's on your mind.
I know you didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh, that's good. Had me worried for a minute.
You know that your friend Cookie left the show?
He did?
Yes, he did.
Well, that's funny. I was talking to him just last night. He didn't say nothing about leaving.
He didn't say anything to anybody. He just left.
Say, you don't think he had anything to do with... Oh, not Cookie.
Well, let's see. He gives an East St. Louis, Illinois address. Do you know whether that's where he lives?
Yeah, that's where he lives, but you're barking up the wrong tree, mister. Anybody but Cookie.
We'll have to check up on him anyway. Leaving the show so suddenly doesn't make it look too good for him. Now, I'm going to ask you a few more questions, and you give me the best answers you can. All we're trying to do is clear this thing up, and we intend to.
Look, Vince, I ain't satisfied with no 5,000.
Get it down, Cookie. There's people in the joint.
I'm telling you, 5,000 is more than you're entitled to, Cookie.
That's final.
Oh, yeah, Walter? Well, now let me tell you guys something. All I gotta do is peep one little word, see? Just one little word.
Cookie.
Don't cookie me, May. I know what you've been trying to get away with behind my back. How stupid do you think I am?
5,000 is all, Cookie.
Yeah?
And who are you counting on peeping that one word to?
To who do you think? To the law, that's who.
Oh. That's not a very good idea, Cookie.
Cookie, get some sense, will you?
Shut up.
Take the $5,000, Cookie, and be glad you got it.
If you don't take it and keep quiet, you're looking for trouble.
Trouble, eh? What kind of trouble could you give me?
Okay, Paula.
You sit still, Cookie. There's a gun in my lap. It's pointed right at your guts.
You see, Cookie?
You guys can't bluff me. Give me my third and I'll get out of here.
Sit still, jerk. We ain't bluffing.
Let's just imagine he was going to make trouble for us. After all, $5,000 is $5,000.
Now, look, fellas, all right, I'll take the $5,000.
You're a little late, Cookie. I think you'll take a nice swim in Horseshoe Lake.
May, to talk to him, huh?
With a rock around your neck.
May, tell him I was kidding, huh? I'll take the $5,000.
I got no influence, Cookie.
Now, get up and walk for the door.
Vince, get up. He said.
Now, walk for the door.
May, do something for me, will you, May? Shut up. Do something, May, please. After what we've been together, May.
Trying to get tough, didn't you, Cookie, huh?
May.
All right, hold it.
What?
Hey, watch what you're doing.
FBI, don't move.
Hey, listen, you...
Stand still.
Oh, brother, I'm glad to see you.
We're glad to see you. Now get over, all of you. Walk out that door and don't give us any trouble. Because we just welcome trouble from guys like you. Now walk.
That, Don, was how agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation rounded up this gang whose crime might be called clever if they got away with it. But they didn't. The principal members of the gang were found guilty of theft from an interstate shipment and sentenced to a term of 8 years in a federal penitentiary. The other conspirator was given a term of 3.5 years.
Well, thank you, United States Attorney Anderson, for this most interesting case history. Tonight's case was directed by William Sweets, with Bill Smith and Gene Ellen in leading roles. Don Gardner speaking.
Proudly we hail. From New York City, where the American stage begins, here is another program with a cast of outstanding players. Public service time has been made available by this station for your Army and your Air Force to bring you this story. As proudly we hail Sarah Gertrude Banks, M.D. Today's story will begin in just a moment. But first...
Young woman, there's an exciting future for you in Air Force Blue. Yes, today the WAF, Women in the Air Force, urgently need qualified young women 18 and 34. Serve in an important job in an interesting place. Become a part of the Air Force team. Right now, you can secure information about the future for you in Air Force Blue at your nearest United States Army and United States Air Force recruiting station. Do it today.
And now your Army and your Air Force present the proudly we hail production, A Woman's Place. Our story is about a pioneer, not the kind that shoots her way out of Indian ambush, but rather one who clears a path through the wilderness of prejudice. Sarah Gertrude Banks. Born June 11, 1839 in Oakland County, Michigan,
She was a descendant of Miles Standish. Probably from her Pilgrim forefathers, she inherited independence and the determination to make her own way in life. Otherwise, what can explain the decision of a country girl to enter a profession where no woman was welcome? That profession was medicine, the time-honored stronghold of men.
Let me go. Let me go. I've got to see Dr. Banks. It's dreadfully important.
But I've told you she can't be disturbed now.
What is all this commotion out here? Let her go, ma'am.
Dr. Banks, I've tried to tell this young lady you were busy, but she insists upon seeing you.
Oh, please, Dr. Banks, you've got to help me. Father just doesn't understand that I want to be a doctor like you. I tried to...
Oh, I see. Well, perhaps we can set him straight. Won't you come into my office?
Thank you, but Dr.
Banks, you see...
It's all right, Maggie. You did your best. Now then, just what is it I can do to help you, Miss...
Goodwin. Jill Goodwin. Well, I don't know exactly, Dr. Banks. If you could write a letter to my father, perhaps. He says that women have no right to even hope to be doctors, that it's a man's profession. I tried to tell him that this isn't the Middle Ages anymore. After all, this is 1916. He just won't listen. He says a woman's place...
is in the home. Yes, I've heard that all my life.
But that didn't stop you, and now you're famous. That's why I thought, if only you would talk to Father or write to him, I'm sure he'd listen to you.
Whether he'd listen or not is beside the point, my dear. It's you yourself that has to be sure. If you want to be a doctor more than anything else in this world, then nothing will stop you. But let me tell you, it's not an easy road. And because you're a woman, it'll be that much harder.
Oh, I am sure, Dr. Banks. And I'm not afraid of hard work.
What about heartaches?
Heartache?
Yes, heartaches, disappointment, discouragement, despair.
But how can that be?
I suppose you're too young to appreciate what I mean when I say heartaches. I know I felt the same way as you do when I was your age. I remember very well how I felt the first time I was able to help someone who really needed me. I'd just turned 18 at the time. We were living on a farm in Oakland County, and my folks had taken the wagon and team into town to get some supplies. When they weren't back by 9 o'clock that night, I decided they must have stayed in town because of the storm. It was an awful storm, lightning and thundering and blowing something awful. And I don't mind telling you I was scared. The nearest neighbors were the Atkins. They lived more than a half mile down the road. All of a sudden, I heard someone banging on the door. Good heavens, who could that be at this time of night? Well, I guess I better answer.
Who's there?
It's me, Tommy Atkins.
Tommy, what are you doing here? And look at you, you're soaking wet and just covered with mud. Here, come in and let me close the door.
I ran all the way.
What's the matter, Tom?
Mom is awful sick.
Your mother's sick?
Yes.
The baby wasn't due for another month.
And Dad's not home.
Where is your dad?
He went to town with your folks, and he didn't come home, and Mama got awful sick, and she was crying, and I ran all the way here, and I fell down in the mud. Mom's all alone. Ah, Sarah, you must come.
Of course I'll come, Tommy. Just let me get my coat. Mrs. Atkins.
Oh, is everything all right? Everything's just fine. Your brand new son is sleeping soundly in a bed I rigged up near the stove, and Tommy's safe and sound in his own bed.
Sarah, I just want to say thank you again, and God bless you for the brave and wonderful girl that you are.
In the 10 years that followed, I developed quite a name as a midwife. In fact, whenever Dr. Morton was busy with another case, he sent me in his place. And I thought I was quite proficient until... well, it was the Gibbs family. I'd helped the doctor deliver Emma's firstborn, but that night the doctor's own wife was expecting twins, so he sent me to take care of Mrs. Gibbs. Everything seemed to be going just fine. But then, for some unknown reason, everything went wrong.
Is it all over, Sarah? What is it, a boy or a girl?
It's a girl, Frank.
Well, that's fine. Now, don't look so disappointed. That's just what Emma and I wanted, the girl.
Frank,
What is it? She's all right, isn't she? I mean, she isn't crippled or anything.
No, the baby's perfectly all right. It's Emma.
Emma?
Yes, Frank. She's dead.
Emma? Dead?
Frank, I'm sorry. Frank, you don't know how truly sorry I am.
Sorry. Yes, sure. Sure, you're sorry. But your being sorry doesn't bring back Emma. Emma's dead, and you don't even know why. Why?
Why? That's what I want to know, Dr. Morton. Why should things like this happen? Women have been having the dawn of time, and yet we knew so very little about it. Why?
You ask me why, Sarah. I don't know. Sometimes I think... Oh, but you're taking this too hard, my dear. Of course, I realize how you feel. It's not easy to see someone in your charge slip away, but those things happen.
But, Doctor...
Now, don't get the idea that I'm being callous about death. It's just that so often I realize that as a doctor, I am nevertheless only human. My power to control life and death is therefore limited. Limited by the lack of knowledge or the inability of the human mind to comprehend the ways of God.
But there's no excuse for lack of knowledge.
There's a very good excuse. There are just not enough doctors. What we need are more people like you, Sarah. People who are willing to go to work and find out why these things happen.
What difference does it make how willing I am? You're forgetting that I'm a woman. People don't want women doctors.
On the contrary, my dear, I am remembering that you're a woman. I'm also remembering an article I read in the newspaper last week.
What article?
Well, it seems that the politicians we sent to the state legislature in Lansing are beginning to show a little sense. They've just recently passed a law which permits women to become doctors in the state of Michigan.
Are you serious?
Of course I'm serious.
Well, do you realize what this means? I can become a doctor. An honest-to-goodness doctor. Well, I'll be able to hang out my shingle and help people who need help.
I admire your determination, Sarah. But let me warn you, it's not going to be easy.
No, it wasn't easy. But I was determined that I was going to be a doctor. So the next term I entered the university. And when the registrar asked me what I intended to major in, I told him medicine.
Medicine? You're not serious?
Of course I'm serious.
Well, that's too bad then, because we're all filled up.
All filled up? What in the world are you talking about? What's all filled up?
Why, the classes in physiology and general anatomy.
Now, wait a minute. What? You take me for a fool? Physiology isn't given until the third year. It's not a course for beginning freshmen.
Now, you listen here, lady. Are you trying to tell me that I don't know what I'm doing here?
Well, no.
I have already signed up 14 women for medicine this term, and, well, there's a lot of grumbling going on all over the campus. The students, the faculty, well, everybody's complaining about it, and I can't say that I blame them. Women doctors. Who ever heard of such nonsense?
So that's it. I'll have you know that I've got as much right to study medicine as any man. My money's just as good as any man's. And if ability means anything...
No, just a moment there. You're getting yourself all riled up. Now, look. You seem to be a nice girl. Take my advice. Forget the whole thing. Why don't you take a nice, sensible course for a woman like you? English or the classics. Don't waste your time trying to be a doctor. If you want to be useful, be a teacher.
If you're quite through, here's my money. You will please enter Sarah Gertrude Banks, School of Medicine.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. And
And ladies? And speaking of ladies, I noticed that there seem to be fewer here today than there were yesterday, on which day there were fewer than the day before. I hate to think what will happen to the numbers of our little ladies' auxiliary after the next examination. But though our lady companions provide advertisements, we must not stray too far from the matter at hand. Today, as I mentioned last week, we are to start the actual dissection of the human body. And since all our classes will be given over to this project, it will be necessary for 2 students each period to transport the cadaver from the ice room to the classroom. I have not as yet had time to set up a schedule, so for today, we will need 2 volunteers to escort the gentleman in. Well, I see that there are no volunteers. So, Mr. Dooley, are you offering your services?
Not exactly, sir, but I do have a suggestion to make, if I may.
Yes?
I'd like to suggest that, in all fairness, we do it. Miss Sarah Banks heads the list. She and her lab partner, Miss Gerhardt, could have the first turn.
Well, now that seems to be a very good suggestion. Miss Banks, does this meet with your approval?
I'd be glad to. You, Martha? Martha? I suppose so.
All right. Here are the keys to room 316. And my assistant will be around there to tell you what to do.
Sarah, I think I'm going to be sick.
You are listening to the Proudly We Hail production, A Woman's Place. Our story will continue in just a moment after this important message.
Today, many patriotic American women are serving their country on the Air Force team, but more are urgently needed. The WAF, Women in the Air Force, is rapidly expanding to keep pace with the growing might of the finest Air Force in the world, and you are needed. If you are between the ages of 18 and 34, you are needed to fill an important job in the service of your country. For full details, visit your United States Army and United States Air Force recruiting station now.
You are listening to Proudly We Hail. And now we present the second act of A Woman's Place.
Yes, Jill, I'm afraid that going to college in the 1870s was no lark for any woman. But for the first 17 women who wanted to become doctors, it was even worse. From the start, the faculty and male students as one body were discourteous. They embarrassed the young women at every turn, openly indicated how ill-fitted we were to enter the noble profession.
When I volunteered to come into your class for an examination, you didn't tell me there'd be women watching.
But, sir, these were studying to be doctors also.
Yeah? Well, I was brought up by God-fearing people. And I say it ain't fitting for a man to be taking off his clothes in front of women.
But why can't I escort Miss Banks to the banquet if I want to?
This fraternity does not invite women medical students to social functions. We invite only ladies.
All right, maybe she was the only one in the class to find the solution. But she broke 4 test tubes doing it.
Why don't you go home and hook yourself a rug for your hope chest?
Sarah? She'd make a better cadaver than she would a doctor. I don't care what you say. A woman's place is...
Out of the 17 who started, only 5 women actually took their degrees. And even though we put up with a lot of insults and embarrassments, even though the work was hard and sometimes seemed unfair, it was all made worthwhile when on the day before graduation I received a most unexpected caller.
Just a moment.
What? But, Professor Mitchell... Won't you come in?
Thank you, Miss Banks. Or perhaps I should say Dr. Banks.
Not until tomorrow.
Well, I don't wonder at your surprise in seeing me here.
Well, it's just that... Won't you sit down?
Thank you. Yes, I'm afraid sometimes we professors, and that includes me, have been a little too quick to criticize and, yes, even humiliate you young ladies.
Oh, well, it's not...
No, you don't have to pretend. I know well enough what you've had to put up with. The only excuse I have to offer in our defense is that it's taken us a little time to get used to the idea of having potential women doctors in our classes. However, I believe we've learned our lesson. You were very good teachers.
I don't believe I follow you.
Well, I mean just that we were so set in our ways of thinking that it took a long time before we were willing to admit that you'd make just as good doctors as men would. Had to be proven. We had to be shown. Well, Miss Banks, you've shown us.
Well, thank you. I don't know what to say.
You don't have to say anything. Just remember that if at any time you ever need help, please do not hesitate to come to me. I mean that now. No matter what the trouble is, I feel very badly if I didn't have the opportunity to help you out of it.
All right, Professor Mitchell. I promise.
But tell me, what exactly do you intend to do now? Are you going to open an office in town here?
No, I've decided to go to Ypsilanti to practice. You may remember my roommate and lab partner, Martha Gerhardt.
Yes, so she dropped out after the second year, didn't she?
Yes. She decided she'd rather become a wife than mother. Anyway, when she married, they moved to Ypsilanti. And she writes there is a crying need for doctors in that community.
Well, the people of Ypsilanti don't know yet what a good doctor they're getting.
Thank you again, Professor Mitchell. Actually, I don't know how long I'll stay there. I'm really interested in someday opening a clinic especially for women.
Well, that's a very worthy goal. Wherever you go, Miss Banks, the best of luck to you. As I said before, if you ever need help, just let me know.
Oh, just a little harder, Martha. Lift it, don't scrape. Oh. There. Well, I didn't want to scratch the floors after we worked so hard polishing them.
Ooh. Now that we've got the sofa in place, do you think maybe I might sit down on it for a while?
Sure. We both need a breather.
Ooh. Well, I may never get up again. I didn't realize how tired I was.
You've worked too hard, Martha. Of course, I appreciate it, but we didn't have to do so much all at one time.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just out of practice. Honestly, I've loved every aching muscle of it. The place looks pretty good, even if I do say so myself. All you have to do is hang up your shingle and you're in business.
Oh, but I wouldn't dare. I haven't got my certificate from the Medical Society yet.
Well, you've applied for membership, haven't you?
Oh, yes, but it was just 3 days ago, and it hasn't been approved yet.
Oh, not yet, maybe, but it's bound to be approved by the time you start getting callers, so why don't we do it?
You think I dare?
Why not? Come on. Careful so you don't trip and fall. I'd hate to have you be your own first patient.
Don't worry. Ah, you put these hooks in just the right place. Here. How does it look?
Very professional, I say. Congratulations, Dr. Banks.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. Won't you step into my office?
Why, thank you, Doctor, I will.
After you, Mr. Schmidt.
Oh, no, after you, Dr. Banks.
Oh, Martha. You don't know how wonderful and proud I feel.
I think I do. In fact, I'm a little jealous.
You're not.
Yes, I am. I kind of wish now that I'd gone ahead and finished medical school. But then on second thought, if I had, you wouldn't be here now, and it wouldn't be half the fun.
Martha, I don't know what I'd have done without you.
You said that before.
Well, I mean it, and I...
Hey, someone's at the door.
Oh, you don't think it... Oh, it couldn't be a patient, all right?
Well, if it is, he's awfully anxious to be your first victim.
What'll I do? I'm not ready. Look at me. Hands are filthy. My hair's a mess. There speaks the woman in the doctor.
Look, you go clean up. I'll let him.
All right, I'll hurry.
Yes, sir, may I help you?
Miss Sarah Banks?
Oh, no, I'm Mrs. Smith. Dr. Banks is here, but she's busy at the moment. If you care to step in and wait, she'll be able to take care of you in just a little while.
Yes, I'll come in, but I'm not here as a patient. I should say not.
Oh? Well, then what...
My name is Gridley, Dr. Charles Gridley, and I've just come from a meeting of the Medical Society.
Oh, I see. Won't you sit down?
Yes. All right, thank you.
Sarah, Dr. Gridley's here. Dr. Gridley of the Medical Society?
Yes, I heard. Good afternoon, Dr. Gridley. Oh, please, Stacy. You must excuse me. I wasn't expecting anyone so soon. That is, we've been busy cleaning up.
Yes, well, there's no use beating around the bush. Miss Banks, I've come here directly from a meeting of the Medical Society.
Then they must have taken action on my application for membership.
That's right, Miss Banks, we did. However, I must tell you that your application was turned down.
Turned down?
Yes. The Society voted unanimously to reject all applications from women doctors. You understand, there's nothing personal in this. It's just that yours was the first one we've had from a woman, and the Society agreed that they would not permit women to practice medicine in this community. Ever.
But, Doctor...
Good day, Miss Banks. I have other things to attend to. And you'd better take down your shingle. It's a lie.
Oh, Sarah.
I'm so mad. I thought that was all behind me.
I guess we should have realized then how it would be.
It's just not right. And if this Dr. Gridley thinks I'm going to take this lying down, he's got another thing coming.
But what can you do, Sarah? You can't practice here without their sanction.
I know that. But I intend to get their sanction, even if it's against their will. They're just trying to bully their way through this whole thing, but it won't work. The state of Michigan passed a law allowing women to practice medicine, and I'm going to see to it that that law sticks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mitchell. Your presentation of the facts is very clear and to the point. Now then, if you and Miss Banks would care to step into the anteroom, the board will discuss the matter and come to a decision.
Of course, sir.
And again, I want to thank you for hearing me. Well, do you think I painted a clear enough picture?
I should say you did. Times I had difficulty believing it was me you were talking about.
You're just being a woman. Put your feminine emotions away and rely on your faith in yourself as a doctor.
Yes, that is good advice. But I just can't help being worried.
Would you care to step back into the room now? The board has reached a decision.
Oh, thank you.
Please, God, make it be the right decision.
Miss Banks, in view of the testimony given by Professor Mitchell this afternoon, the board has decided that a woman with your qualifications has a definite place in the world of medicine. We've decided to make you a full-fledged member of the Michigan Medical Society.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
From this day forward, no one will ever be able to dispute your right to practice medicine in this state. And furthermore, Miss Banks, if it's all right with you, we would like to appoint you to the post of resident physician of the Women's Hospital and Foundling Home in Detroit. A position we feel sure you'll be able to fill very capably. What do you say to that, Dr. Banks?
Well, maybe it isn't very doctorly, sir, but I think I'm going to cry.
What a wonderful story. Oh, Dr. Banks, I think you're the most admirable woman I've ever met. I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and I'm truly sorry for the way I burst into the reception room and begged for help. What a child I was.
Feel Goodwin, you were not childish. You had the courage to do what you saw you had to do. Such determination won't do you any harm in medical school. Oh, and before I forget, I want you to write me occasionally when you get there.
I'd love to write you. But please go on. What about the Foundling Hospital?
I think I've done enough talking. It's time I wrote that letter to your father.
Thank you, Dr. Banks. But that won't be necessary. You see, I've already decided to fight that battle myself. After hearing your story, if I can persuade my father by myself, but there is no if, I will persuade him. A woman's place isn't only in the home. It's where she can do the most good.
future for you in Air Force Blue. Yes, an important future in the exciting places of the world. Today, the WAF, Women in the Air Force, is rapidly expanding to keep pace with our defense needs. If you're between the ages of 18 and 34 and can qualify, the WAF needs you. America needs you. You will be trained to do an interesting job, a job vital to the needs of our country. For full details about a future for you in Air Force Blue, visit your local United States Army and United States Air Force recruiting station today.
This has been another program on Proudly We Hail, presented transcribed in cooperation with this station by the United States Army and United States Air Force Recruiting Service. This program featured a cast of outstanding players. This is Kenneth Banghart speaking and inviting you to tune in this same station next week for another interesting story on Proudly We Hail.
This episode from the life of Sherlock Holmes will be transmitted to our men and women overseas by shortwave and through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Petri Wine brings you Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce in the new adventures of Sherlock Holmes. The Petri family, the family that took time to bring you good wine, invite you to listen to Dr. Watson tell us another exciting adventure he shared with his old friend, that master detective, Sherlock Holmes. Well, right about now, you're probably taking a little breather in your last-minute rush to get everything ready for the big day tomorrow. Children have to be put to bed to wait for Santa Claus, and there's the tree waiting to be decorated, and, a million and one things which must be done before morning. I sure hope you got all your Christmas shopping done. Pretty hectic rushing off at the last minute to take care of Uncle Charlie or Aunt Bertha or Cousin Sam. But if you must get something, just remember that you can always dash over to your wine merchant and get a bottle or two of Petri wine. Or better yet, a whole case of Petri wine. Petri wine's a swell gift, and I just thought a little last-minute suggestion might be of some help. And now I'm sure our good friend Dr. Watson's waiting for us, so let's go in and join him.
Come in. Ah, there you are, Mr. Bartell.
Oh, say, Doctor, I can see you're going to have yourself quite a Christmas. Big tree in the corner with colored lights on it. Where'd you get those? Table covered with presents? You must be mighty popular.
They aren't all for me, my boy. You see, I'm having a Christmas party tomorrow for my housekeeper's little nieces.
Oh.
I'm going to dress up as Santa Claus for them.
Well, I'm sure you look very convincing in the part. Oh, by the way, Doctor, I brought you a little present.
Ooh,
Here it is. I hope you'll like it.
Mr. Bartell, I got one for you, too, here, Summer. Oh, you mustn't open it until tomorrow. Here you are, my boy.
Thanks a lot, Doctor. And now, how's about tonight's story? Last week you told us you'd chosen an adventure with a lot of Christmassy atmosphere.
Yes, Mr. Bartell. My story begins on another Christmas Eve many, many years ago. To be exact, in 1886. The time the adventure occurred, I must confess I didn't quite understand what was going on myself. In fact, I never did quite make head or tails of it until Holmes took pity on me later and explained the whole thing. But I shan't try to confuse you, Mr. Bartell. I'll tell you the story exactly as it happened.
Right you are, Doctor. Let's go.
Oh. On that Christmas Eve in '86, I was standing in our Baker Street rooms, dressed in the costume of Santa Claus. Holmes, his long, thin fingers pressed together, lay back in an armchair and gazed at me quizzically, while our housekeeper, Mrs. Hudson, stood by the door and...
Dr. Watson, you make a grand Santa Claus.
Doesn't he, Mrs. Hudson? Try the beard on, Watson, old chap.
I'm afraid this is going to be a little uncomfortable. How does it look?
Oh, you look just like the old man on the Christmas cards, Doctor.
Yes, Watson. It really becomes you. The cheery twinkle of the eyes, the ruddy complexion, and the appropriate girth. What a shame we can't obtain some snow on a sleigh and reindeer for you. However, I'm sure Mrs. Hudson's nieces will be very much impressed.
Well, they will that, sir. And it's very kind of you, Doctor, to offer to come over to that house with me. There's father in the hospital and my sister at his bedside. It would have been a very miserable Christmas without me.
Oh, I shall enjoy myself, but I think I'll take this beard off before we get there. That's it. Are you ready to leave, Mrs. Hudson?
I am, sir. Will I get a cab?
How far do we have to go?
Oh, Lexington Gardens, number 28. It's just off the Edgware Road, Doctor.
Not far, but bearing in mind my costume, I suppose we'd better take a cab.
Aye, sir. I'll get one.
Holmes, what are you going to do with yourself? I hate leaving you alone on Christmas Eve.
Oh, don't worry, old chap. I shall spend a profitable evening writing on my new monograph.
Well, what's this one about?
An analysis of teeth marks on pipe stems, with particular regard to indicated character.
Oh, gracious me, how exciting. Well, I must be going.
Don't forget your stack of presents, old fellow.
Great Scott, no.
When you come to distribute them, you'll find that I took the liberty of adding a few trinkets on my own behalf.
Well, that's very thoughtful of you, Holmes.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Holmes, but there's a gentleman to see you. Says he's an old friend of yours. Here's his card, sir.
Oh, thank you. Oh, it's Lord Whittingham. Splendid. Ask him to come up, please, Mrs. Hudson.
All right, sir.
And I hope your party is a great success, Mrs. Hudson.
Thank you, sir. Are you sure you don't want me to stay? Now that you have a visitor.
Oh, no. Indeed, no, Mrs. Hudson. I can show the gentleman out myself. You go off and have a good time.
Thank you, sir.
I wonder what Lord William wants. Perhaps I should stay.
No, please, my dear fellow. Certainly not.
Huh?
You've far more important work to do. Whittingham probably wants his revenge at chess. Or something equally innocuous. Off with you, my dear fellow, and enjoy yourself.
Oh, I suppose I'd better go. Just the same, I wish you were coming with me. I'll see you later.
I shall be there. Come on up, Whittingham.
Hello, Holmes. Evening, Watson. You make a very convincing Santa Claus. Are you leaving?
I'm afraid so, Lord Whittingham.
Well, good night, then.
Good night, sir.
How are you, Holmes? All alone on Christmas Eve, eh?
Yes, Whittingham, I'm glad you came over to see me.
Mm-hmm.
What's it to be, an evening of chess, or have you unearthed some recent treasure of medieval pottery that we can discuss?
Neither, Holmes. I've come to you in your professional capacity. I need help.
Oh, come now, Whittingham. Don't tell me that after all these years of quiet friendship, you're going to become a client.
Yes, I'm afraid so, Holmes. Though I doubt if my problem will interest you very much. It's hardly up to your rather colorful standards. Care for a cigar?
Oh, thanks. Now, my dear Whittingham, what's your trouble?
Well, I decided this year to have a little Christmas party at my townhouse. I'm quite comfortably off, as you know, and it occurred to me that I have several relatives and friends who are not as well off. I'm having a party for them tonight, Holmes, and I hope you'd attend it, disguised as Santa Claus.
Oh, my dear fellow, I've adopted many disguises in my time, but Father Christmas has never been one of them. Why do you want me to attend your party in disguise in any case? Are you ashamed of your friendship, a private detective, or do you consider my features more acceptable when buried beneath the depths of a snowy beard?
Oh, my dear Holmes, do take me seriously. I'm not joking, I assure you.
Of course not. You want me to attend your party in disguise. Why?
I'm giving some very valuable presents, diamond and onyx cufflinks, platinum and ruby earrings, and such like. And I've wrapped each of the presents in banknotes.
Oh, dear me. Where are these presents now?
In the sack. In charge of my butler. I was going to dress up as Santa Claus and give them out myself, until I got the warning letter. That's why I've come to you.
Warning letter, eh?
Yes. I received it by this evening's post. Listen to this. My dear Lord Whittingham, your generosity with Christmas presents borders on ostentation. We do not approve. Neither we receive £5,000 in sovereigns at Post Restaurant, Box 379 by 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve, or I'm afraid your Christmas party will be conspicuous by its absence of presents.
Let me see that note, Whittingham, will you?
Yes, here you are.
Thanks. Plain paper, torn from a penny notebook. The writing is obviously disguised. By George, yes. Whittingham, I accept the case. I'll come with you to your party at once. And furthermore, I shall follow your suggestion regarding a disguise. Dressed as Santa Claus, I shall be less likely to attract suspicion.
I'm delighted, Holmes. But what made you decide so suddenly?
This writing, my dear fellow, this writing. Oh, it's in a false hand. I know that characteristic M in my dear Whittingham. I've seen it too often at the beginning of the signature. Moriarty.
Moriarty? Who's he?
Oh, one of the cleverest and most unscrupulous criminals in England. Whittingham, there's no time to be lost. Let me see now. 6:30. Half an hour down the deadline given you in this letter. We must go to your house at once.
This is as far as the cab can take us, Doctor.
Oh, here you are, cabby. Here's 5 shillings for you, and a Merry Christmas.
Oh, bless you, Denton, and a Merry Christmas to you, too.
You said you wanted to get into the house through the back way so that you could surprise the children.
Yes, I thought I'd send you to come down the kitchen chimney.
Oh, you can get to the back of the house by going up the alley here. I'll go in the front.
Splendid, Mrs. Hudson. Which is the house?
Number 28. It's the third one down the alley, Doctor. I'll have the back window open in no time, and you can slip in without any of the bairns seeing.
Very well. Gloomy little street, I must say. Hello, where's the music coming from?
Oh, it's from that temple across the street, Doctor. The disciples of the octagonal square, they call themselves.
What on earth do you suppose that means?
Oh, some newfangled cult. Heathens, most likely.
Oh, hello. I'm not the only Santa Claus aboard tonight. Look at that fellow across the street over there.
Oh, dressed just like yourself, Doctor, and carrying a sack, too. Oh, he's running up the steps to the temple.
Great Scott, he slipped on the ice. Oh, I wonder what his hurry was. Here, my man.
Oh, be careful now, Doctor. Dinner trip for yourself.
Here, now, give me a hand.
Thank you, sir. Silly of me, wasn't it?
Oh, we Santa Clauses have to help each other, you know. Up you come. That's it. Woo!
Oh, Doctor, I told you to be careful. Oh. Now you've fallen, too.
Oh, it's this confounded red coat of mine. It tripped me up.
Oh. Did you hurt yourself, sir?
No. I'm all right, I think. How about you, sir?
Well, I'm all right, thanks. Oh. Silly of me to run, wasn't it?
Here's your sack, sir.
Well, thank you. Good night, and Merry Christmas.
Good night, same to you, sir. Same to you. Oh, he went into the temple. Must be a disciple of the octagonal square.
You're sure you're no hurt, Doctor?
No, of course not, Mrs. Hudson. Give me my sack, please. Thank you. Your sister's house is the third one down this alleyway, you say?
I'll hurry and open the back window.
Yes, I'll be waiting for you, Mrs. Hudson. This is going to be rather fun. What a shame Holmes isn't with us. Oh, well, he's probably happier having a good game of chess with Lord Willicombe.
This is my house, Holmes. Number 39.
39 Bonston Square, eh? And dear old Watson is just around the corner in Lexington Gardens and hasn't any idea that I've left Baker Street.
Yes, here you are, Caddy.
Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas, sir.
Uh-huh. Listen to that. Carol singers.
Yes, we'll probably have our fill of them before this evening's over.
Good evening, my lord.
Have the guests arrived, Hargreave?
Most of them, sir. They're in the library. You brought another Santa Claus with you, I see, my lord.
Another Santa Claus? What do you mean?
The gentleman arrived 3/4 of an hour ago, sir, dressed as Santa Claus. I took him to your study, my lord, and showed him the sack of presents.
Confound it! He's got here before us. Where's this study?
This way.
I hope I didn't do wrong, my lord. You told me that a gentleman dressed as Santa Claus would be coming here. Dear me. The gentleman appears to have gone.
Yes, and the sack containing the presents with him.
But he can't have left the house, my lord. I'd been watching the front door.
Yes, and while you were doing that, he slipped out through the window here. The catch is undone. Hargrave, describe this man.
I can't tell you much about his appearance, I'm afraid, sir. He was dressed as Santa Claus, just like yourself. But I did notice one thing about him, sir.
Oh? What was that?
He lisped, sir. It was quite pronounced.
Of course. Lou the Lisper.
Who on earth is Lou the Lisper?
One of Moriarty's most trusted accomplices. Fortunately, though, I've had news of him lately through my underworld grapevine.
You know where he lives?
He's reputed to have some connections with a new cult that calls themselves the Disciples of the Octagonal Square. Their headquarters are just around the corner from here.
Let's go there at once.
Of course. And Hargrave.
Yes, sir.
Get a message to Scotland Yard as fast as you can. Ask for Inspector Lestrade. And tell him to join me at the Temple of the Octagonal Square in Lexington Gardens as soon as possible.
Oh, the children are awful excited, Doctor. I told them you just came down the chimney.
I'll slip the bed on and then I'll go into them. There we are.
Will I announce you, Doctor?
Yes, please, Mrs. Hudson.
All right, sir.
No, children, quiet.
Santa Claus has come to see you, and he's brought you all presents.
Hello, children.
Hello, Santa Claus. My name's Elsie. Did you bring me a present?
Why, I did, Elsie. I look in my sack in a minute. And what's your name, young man?
Herbert, they call me Bertie. Did you come down the chimney?
Yes, Bertie.
I bet you had a time doing it. You're so fast.
Oh, don't be rude, Bertie. Santa Claus won't give you your present.
And what's your name, little man?
Maya, though. I've got a cold.
Yes, I see you have. Well, children, gather round me and I'll see what present I got for you.
Let me see, Bertie.
The first present is for... Well, it's probably right. It says for Her Grace, the Dowager Duchess of Bewley.
Oh, do you suppose Mr. Holmes has been playing a practical joke on you, Doctor?
I suppose so. Well, I can't see the point myself. But he did say that he'd added a few trinkets of his own.
I want my present.
Then supposing you take this, Elsie.
Ooh, thank you.
And this one is marked for the Reverend Arthur Carter. I knew what Holmes was up to. Here you are, Bertie.
Cool, thanks.
And this is for you, Arnold, because you've been a good little boy.
It's not very big, is it? I wanted the dog.
Oh, wanted the dog for Christmas. Well, I'll bring you a dog next year, Arnold.
Oh,
Dr. Watson.
Yes?
Oh, look at the wrapping on these presents, Doctor. What, they're 20-pound notes.
Scott.
Oh, cool. Look what I got.
Now, let me see. Why, cufflinks and diamond and onyx ones, unless I'm very much mistaken.
I got some pretty earrings. Look how they sparkle.
Let me see, Elsie. Good gracious, I swear that these are platinum rubies. What in thunder's going on?
I want my earrings back. Give me back mine, too.
Well, here you are, here you are.
Dr. Watson, what do you suppose has happened?
I don't know, Mrs. Hudson. Perhaps my toys are still at the bottom of the sack. I can't understand it. I wish Holmes were here instead of dozing in front of our fire in Baker Street.
Where are you, Holmes?
Here by the bed. This is the only room in the temple that gives any signs of having been lived in. I think our bird has been here, but I'm afraid it's flown. If Inspector Lestrade will get here, strike a match, will you, Whitcomb?
Right. Here's a candle on the table.
Oh, just as I feared. Look on the bed.
A red coat and a beard.
Yes, Lou the Lipper has discarded his disguise and gone, and with him, I'm afraid, your valuable possessions.
Oh, wait a minute. Here's a sack lying on the floor. Oh, no, this isn't mine. Look what's in it. A toy dog, large box of chocolates, little girl's doll.
What in thunder? Well, this is Watson's sack.
But how on earth could Lou the Lisper have got hold of it?
Somewhere, somehow, he and Watson must have made an accidental change, and Lou the Lisper is no doubt trying to track Watson down at this very moment. He must work fast, Whitcomb, or my friend's life and those of Mrs. Hudson and her relatives won't be worth a tinker's damn.
Oh, now, Doctor, you can't break off your story there.
Oh, yes, I can, my boy. Before I go on, I thought we'd have a glass of port just to freshen us up.
Oh, well, that's something different. Of course. Instead of talking about port, as I sometimes do, it'll be nice to drink some for a change.
There you are, my boy, and a Merry Christmas to you.
The same to you. And now, what happened next, Doctor? We left you at the children's Christmas party, and Sherlock Holmes and Lord Whittaker around the corner at the Temple of the Octagonal Square.
Yes, Mr. Bartell, although at the time, of course, I had no idea what was going on. There I was, cheerfully handing out gifts worth, well, if not a king's, at least a baronet's ransom. While outside the Temple of the Octagonal Square, Holmes and Lord Whittaker were talking to Inspector Lestrade of Scotland Yard.
That's the case in a nutshell, Lestrade.
Yeah, it seems to me, Lord Whittaker, you'd have been wiser to get in touch with Scotland Yard when you first got the warning note. We could have nabbed him when he came to your house and pinched the sack of presents.
Lestrade, this is no time for post-mortems. We'd better reach Lou the Lisper before he finds Dr. Watson.
You suppose he can do that, Holmes?
It wouldn't be difficult. Lou the Lisper is nearly as clever as his master, Professor Moriarty. The chances are that you were followed when you came to Baker Street tonight, Whittaker. It's equally likely that Watson and Mrs. Hudson were followed as they left it. Moriarty seldom leaves anything to chance.
Well, where did Dr. Watson go tonight?
Lexington Gardens. It's just around the corner from here.
Well, then let's go there at once.
I'd not quarry away. No, Lestrade. We must use a little subtlety. Now, Lou the Lisper wishes to recover that sack of presents from Watson. How would he invade the party with the least possible trouble?
By dressing up as Santa Claus again?
No, I think he's overplayed that role for one evening.
Well, then how would he try to get in, Mr. Holmes?
Oh, come now, Lestrade. What group of people can enter any house on Christmas Eve without invitation, without creating suspicion?
The carols.
Exactly, my dear fellow. I shouldn't be at all surprised if at this moment Lou the Lisper and some of his gang are singing carols outside 28 Lexington Gardens.
Well, then what are we going to do?
Form a rival choral society. How many of your men did you bring with you?
3. The sergeant and 2 constables.
Wearing greatcoats?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. But why?
Look, they can hide their helmets and pretend to be singers. Come on. Let's go over there, and while we're walking, we'll rehearse our carols. We must appear reasonably convincing. Sound your ray, Lestrade. Sound your ray.
Provided your back, Santa Claus?
No, you mustn't make Santa Claus too tired, lad.
Oh, that's all right, Mrs. Hudson. Hop on, Lal, hop on.
Oh,
isn't that
Can't
nice?
they come inside and sing for us, Santa
Yes,
Claus?
of course they can. Ask them to come in, Mrs. Hudson, will you?
All right, sir.
Oh, come on, let me get on your back, too.
Oh, now, take it easy. Oh, there we go.
I want to see your reindeer, Santa.
See my reindeer. Oh, boy, they're up on the roof.
I'll climb up and see them.
No, you mustn't do that. They're asleep. Oh, here are the carol singers. Off you get, children. There we go. That's it. Now, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, and Merry Christmas.
Would you like to sing some carols for the children? After that, I'm sure you'd like a drop of something to warm up.
Well, thank you, sir. We should like that.
Haven't I met you before somewhere, my man?
No, sir, I'm sure you haven't. Come on, man, let's sing Good King Wenceslas.
Good King Wenceslas moved out on the feast of Stephen.
Well, here we are outside the house, Mr. Holmes. Now what?
Listen. Uh-huh. Lou the Lisper and his men are already there.
Are we going in now?
In a moment. Now, men, you will have your truncheons handy?
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we're ready.
Splendid. Now, remember, when we're inside and I yell Christmas at the top of my voice, you bring out your truncheons and get Lou the Lisper and his gang out of there as quickly as possible. Don't arrest them until you get them outside again, Lestrade. I don't want to frighten the children.
Right you are, Mr. Holmes. We're ready. Just give us the word and we'll go in and get them.
That was very nice singing. And now, how about something to warm you all up?
That won't be necessary, Dr. Watson. See to the door, Sammy. Now, all of you, stay right where you are.
Who are you? What do you think you're up to?
Please don't be difficult, Doctor. All I want is the jewels out of my sack that you sold for me tonight. If you try and stop me, I shall have to hurt you.
Why do you talk so funny? You got a cold like me?
Shut up. Now, Doctor, where are the jewels? Oh, curse it. There are some more carol singers outside.
I got them to go away, Lou.
No, better let them come in. If we don't, they might get suspicious.
All right, Lou. I should know what you're up to.
Now, no tricks, Doctor. If you try and give an alarm, I shall have to get rough with you.
I don't mind about that, but just remember that there are children present.
Hiya, Manny. Hello here before you, eh? What you say, we all join a little carol for the nippers, eh?
All right. What do you want to sing?
Off the Yellow Angels sing,
All right. Come on, men. Let's sing.
Off the Yellow Angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
Merry Christmas!
Doctor, watching what's happening. They're all hitting each other with truncheons.
Yeah, you can't do that. They're all going away. They're dragging each other out. Hey, come back here.
Oh, terrible.
Holmes, what in thunder is going on?
I'll explain it to you later, old chap. Lestrade!
Yes, Mr. Holmes?
Take them to Scotland Yard and prefer charges. I'll be over in a little while and give evidence.
Right, you are, sir. Too bad we didn't catch Professor Moriarty, too.
Well, at least we have some of his cohorts. I'll see you later, Lestrade.
I wish I knew what was going on here. Is Moriarty mixed up in this business?
Yes, Watson. I'll tell you all about it as soon as I've straightened this thing out. Now, Whitcomb.
Yes, Holmes.
The 20-pound notes that you used as wrapping for your gifts seem to have been scattered all over the house. Do you want me to recover them, too?
No. From what you've told me of the children, I think their parents could use the money much more profitably than my relatives. In any case, I can replace it.
A very generous Christmas gift. Well, children, did you enjoy the little game we staged for you?
It was enough fun. Yes. I nearly died laughing when they started hitting each other.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, children. And now I want you to show me the presents you received.
I got these pretty earrings.
Oh, they were a part of the game, too. A nice little girl like you doesn't want silly earrings, Elsie. Here's a beautiful doll for you.
Cool. Her eyes open and shut and everything.
And what did you get, my little man?
These.
Oh, cufflinks. Good gracious. Who wants cufflinks when he can have a clockwork train? You want to exchange?
Rain, Lord love a duck, yes. I wanted the dog.
There's one for you, Lionel. A nice woolly dog.
Oh, good.
And here's a nice... Here you are, children. Here's a nice big box of chocolates, too. You can all share them.
Oh, Lummy, what a night. I ain't had as much fun since Granny got her finger stuck in a plug-o.
I still don't understand what's going on, Holmes, but I must say this has all the earmarks of being a happy Christmas.
Yes, Mrs. Hudson.
Hi, Mr. Holmes.
How's the turkey coming along?
Oh, it'll be ready in a few minutes, Mr. Holmes.
Splendid. And while we're waiting, perhaps the children will oblige with something we haven't heard so far.
Yes, I know what you mean. A Christmas carol that really sounds convincing. How about it, children?
All right, sir. Come on, Elsie. Come on, Lionel. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant of tender and kind, sleep in
Well, Doctor, that was really a swell story. On a Christmas Eve like this, do you ever wish you were back in Baker Street celebrating Christmas there?
At times, yes, but actually, Mr. Bartell, I'm very happy right here in my little home. There on the table is a beautiful little Christmas tree. There's a fine fire in my fireplace. My two dogs, Monty and Winnie, are sleeping peacefully at my feet. And best of it all, I've got the love of every child in the neighborhood. Yes, I got a great deal this Christmas Eve. Lots to be thankful for. And what with the troubles of the world on their way to being settled, it looks as if this is the brightest Christmas that I've ever had.
Well, that's how I feel about it, too, Doctor.
I hope that all our friends listening in are just as happy this Christmas Eve as we are. And speaking not only for myself, but I know for all of us and for the Petrie family, too, we wish every one of you a happy Christmas from the bottom of our hearts. God rest ye merry, gentlemen.
Well, Dr. Watson, next Monday is New Year's Eve. What story do you plan to tell us?
One that I think you'll find extremely appropriate, Mr. Bartell. It takes place in a Scottish castle near Edinburgh on a New Year's Eve in 1900 and concerns a pair of lovers, an elderly baronet, and a strange iron box that proved to be more than worth its weight in gold.
Tonight's Sherlock Holmes adventure was written by Dennis Green and Anthony Boucher and was suggested by an incident in the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle story, The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle. Music is by Dean Fossler. Mr. Rathbone appears through the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, and Mr. Bruce through the courtesy of Universal Pictures, where they are now starring in the Sherlock Holmes series. The Petri Wine Company of San Francisco, California, invites you to tune in again next week, same time, same station. Sherlock Holmes comes to you from our Hollywood studios. This is Harry Bartell saying goodnight for the Petri family. For a solid hour of exciting mystery dramas, listen every Monday on most of these same stations at 8 o'clock to Michael Shayne, followed immediately by Sherlock Holmes. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.